again. Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between. How the heck are you? Yeah, this is the Open Chat. I am the Lavender Lady, Diana Clarion. With me is the one, the only, the brilliant, the beautiful Kate Farr, Bionic Dance. Hello,
It's been a day where I've been having a difficult time getting motivated. I don't know. I woke up thinking I'm gonna work on my project, and then by the time I sit down at the computer, I'm like, nah. And I spent
dear.
enough hours browsing like Twitter that I was like, I'm not getting shit done today.
Yeah, yeah, I know
And you
that
know what?
feeling.
I think that's actually okay because I don't really let myself have a weekend so much. I mean, I'm my own boss. I work from home. I can set my own hours, my own days, anything. And I guess I forget to take days off sometimes. And I need to allow myself that latitude.
Yeah, that's always a good thing. You need some time off. You need just to kick your feet up and quit working for a while. And what am I doing here? Today's Thursday, isn't it?
Well, most of the day anyway.
Yeah, okay. With my little pill caddy over here and my 3,000 pills. God damn it. I'm a
I still
walking.
think it's nice and funny that they told me the medication they might have put me on for autism is the same thing that I'm on for the seizures, right?
Yeah, I like that. That
And
works.
I was bugging my doctor, my neurologist. I'm like, get me off this stuff. I don't want to be on it for the rest of my life. And now
Yeah, probably will be, right?
looks that way.
Oh my,
I
I
mean,
don't
it's
know.
not like autism is something that's subject to curing, and I'm not sure I'd want it to be anyway. There are some aspects of it that are pretty nifty. It'd be nice to ditch the bad ones, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I mean, it's like if I wasn't autistic, I probably would not be the same person, and I don't know if I'd like it better or if I wouldn't.
Wow, I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting to think about, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I know many much people who have call them conditions, whatever. Anywhere from depression to even bipolar disorder and that sort of thing, who say that all in all, they wouldn't have it any other way.
Hmm.
Not so
Well,
much the bipolar, but you know, many neurodivergent types and stuff like that. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's times I wish that I could have had the normal experience just to, see what it's like. Because being neurodivergent and raised by hippies and adopted and a bit of a weirdo, and, I mean, not that I would not want to be a lesbian, but at the same time, that's not. I mean, it's less typical. I'm not going to say normal. I will say it's less typical
Yeah, yeah,
than
yeah.
like the average or whatever.
Sure.
And I am curious what that experience is like versus, what I had versus being a cast member of the Big Bang Theory,
Okay,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. I will admit to wondering about that occasionally, myself. Because, oh, you know me, I'm anything but normal, and I have been anything but normal most of my life.
Hmm.
Um, and you do wonder what would it have been like, yeah, to be like everybody else.
Well, I mean, it could be very boring. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to end up like one of those people, 2.3 kids and all of that crap. It sounds terrible. It really does. The idea of having that typical Norman Rockwellish family sounds really shitty to me. I wouldn't want to do that.
Oh
Um,
man.
I'm glad there are people who do because I don't know what happened to the world if everyone was like me, but Oh, and by the way, if there's anyone listening to this who's like, anti-gay marriage or whatever, because oh my god, traditional marriage, this is a lesbian telling you that I think traditional marriage will continue to exist forever because it's not like straight people are going away. And even if everyone decides they're like bisexual or whatever,
Yeah, huh?
pansexual,
Yeah.
uh, people are still going to pair off into male and female, into het.
Well, I mean,
So,
just to
I
keep the
mean, into every other combination, and I mean, I think what they're really afraid of is having to live side by side with people they think are weird. That it really doesn't have anything to do with traditional marriage at all. Not really. They just want the world to conform to their idea of what it ought to be.
there you go. Monrek, hi honey, how you doing? Yay. But yeah, I mean, just to keep the species going, you're going to have to do the occasional horizontal bop, with the.
Well, unless we develop some sort of like uterine replicator vats where we can cook up kids without having to cook them up in the body.
Mm, I mean, that would actually be kind of nice in its own way, though, if you could do
Mm.
that. Uh, Pregnancy is kind of hard on the body, it really is.
Mm-hmm.
And it can't be the easiest uh, experience in the world getting blown out of the baby cannon.
Well, I do wonder sometimes, like, okay, number one, if they created these uterine replicator vats, where you can cook up a kid that way, um, well, it kind of makes menstruation superfluous.
Yes, it
And
does.
I think after a while, they'd want something done about that. Like all these scientists, a lot of female scientists, I'm sure, will go, you know what? And because I don't know, like someone would have the idea, I'm sure, right?
Oh,
Like I'd do it if I was a scientist, but I'm not.
okay. Yeah.
That's why I'm like, maybe they would have something to do with it, like the ones who can. It's like I don't know. Maybe it's the same thing where like I bet a lot of clothing companies are run by men, and that's why women's pants don't have pockets.
Oh, easily. Yeah, they hate us.
So
I mean, it drives me crazy. Just when I have my bus card, and I want to carry it with me, without having my wallet in my hand and everything. And the bus card barely fits in my pocket. The fare card.
and I don't like having things in my back pocket because that's how you get pickpocketed.
Yeah, huh?
You know.
Jeez, I cannot remember the last time I carried anything in a back pocket.
Hmm.
I may have been
Actually,
in
I have a
grade school.
mask back there.
Say again?
I have a mask back there.
Oh, okay, okay.
Just a spare in case, some
Mm-hmm.
businesses are really like bitchy about it right now, where they're like, no one comes in. Doesn't matter how vaxxed you are, that kind of thing. Certainly hospitals are doing that. And I
Oh
mean, I can't
yeah.
blame them. It makes total sense. But then there's other places where they're like, yeah, we just don't give a damn, you know? And I
Oh.
have to admit, mask fatigue is definitely a thing.
Well, I tell you, from time to time, it gets pretty hard on me in the sense that it actually makes me ill. Where I
Yeah, that's
start
not what
to
mask fatigue means.
I start to throw up.
Okay, but that's not what mask fatigue means. Mask fatigue is this has gone on too
Oh
goddamn
yeah,
long.
yeah,
2 years
absolutely.
of wearing masks. I'm sick to fucking death of it. That, I mean, granted, people draw that line in different places. It's an individual thing, but people have gotten there.
Oh
Like it or
yeah.
not, people are there now.
Yeah, I don't know if I will ever be in a situation where I am not in a mask most of the time. The whole dialysis thing. The kids are largely immunocompromised, and you just wear the masks for their sake.
Hmm. I mean, I don't know. Like I am a bit sick of it. I'll still wear the damn thing, but I'm really tired of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's weird, like okay, granted, I've stopped watching the news. Basically, every news channel that I used to watch has gotten weirdly right wing lately, and I'm getting kind of pissed off about it. I'm like, all you people who were like total firebrands during the Trump administration, you seem to be casting about for a new enemy, but now that your side is in control, what can you do besides criticize them and look for another villain? And it's just not working for them because as they start like demonizing Democrats, they start becoming what they hated during Trump.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I've unsubscribed from so many news channels, and it's like I can't find news that's straight up news and not commentary, not opinion.
Well, I don't know that news exists anymore, as you say. That is not commentary. I miss Walter Cronkite. Okay, where you sit at the desk and you read the news, and this is what happened, and that's it. And
Hmm.
it just doesn't happen anymore.
I
Uh,
mean, they had that post Cronkite. I mean, I would say that like Dan Rather and Tom Brokaw and Peter Jennings were that sort. I mean, it was continuing into the 80s.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's
Um,
Cronkite is my go-to. I mean, when I'm thinking of
yeah,
really good
but he's
stuff. But
also starting to be quite obsolete at this point. I'm sure there's people in this world who have no idea who the frick he is because they were born like 15 years ago.
yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I only
Uh,
really know who he is because my parents made a big deal out of him, and he was like in a couple of movies I watched, or like what was the mini series I think had him on briefly.
oh,
So
okay, okay.
and that was 1983, and yeah.
I'm trying to remember when he retired.
Hmm.
Um, well, you know what I'm doing, right?
What
When
network was he even on? Was that CBS?
CBS.
So yes, it was CBS.
Okay, when did Cronkite retire? Here we go. 6 March 1981 was
Hmm.
his last program.
Well, I guess he. Or it might have been archive footage that they used when they were doing V. Not sure.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
that's certainly happened before. There's certainly been times where they use archive footage, like to make it seem like a reporter is or a public figure is saying something that works with the plot, but sure as hell didn't happen. Like for example, How I Met Your Mother had an episode about like a tornado or a hurricane or something that was going to hit New York City, and so they used a bunch of footage from Bloomberg that was like for a completely different storm, but they used
Hmm.
it on the episode to make it seem like it was the storm now because they eliminated all of the references to the actual storm and just made it seem like, oh yeah, he's saying the weather's getting bad.
Hmm.
And I mean it's not the only time I've seen that done.
Yeah,
They,
yeah.
they they do it all the time, and these days we have deep fakes where you could really fuck with what someone said. You get like an impersonator or something and deep fake a reporter.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
I mean, hell,
There
that'd
was
be pretty interesting to do. Like, there is freeware deep fake software out there. You could do this at home.
okay, okay.
And I was thinking, like, what if I wanted to make a fan film out of something? And I just, like, I was like, the star of this is unavailable to me, obviously. So why don't I just record me saying the lines and, like deep fake their face on top of me?
Hmm. Okay, yeah.
Then again, I'd have to find someone I can impersonate and really. I don't think I can do any celebrity voices. I can do cartoon character voices, but I couldn't like imitate Gina Davis or anything.
Okay, so you're definitely not going to imitate Boris Johnson.
No. I've actually never heard him speak. or maybe once. But the thing is, he looks like Trump, and with his name, I keep thinking he's going to be speaking Russian,
Yeah.
right? And so like I keep forgetting he's from the UK because just Boris, and he looks like Trump. I expect him to be a very specific kind of evil, and he's a different kind of evil.
Yeah. And the damn thing is, if I remember correctly, he was born in the U.S.
He was born in the US. Anyway, you know what's funny? You heard about the D. Snyder thing, right? Where the right wing has been using "We're Not Gonna Take It" as a right wing anthem,
Oh yeah.
and like there was this one dude who was like, "Oh man, they took this song that was clearly rebellion against weirdness and was in support of traditional American values." I'm like, dude, have you ever seen the video? Because it's the stick in the mud dad who gets like his comeuppance from a drag queen, essentially.
Okay then.
And it's like, you think this song is in support of traditional conservative American values? What's wrong with you? I mean, have you ever seen Twisted Sister? Even just in pictures, not
Yeah.
even in concert. Have you ever? I don't know. It's crazy. Like, I've heard that Dee Snider has said some disgusting things. I don't know if that's true, but in this particular case, the people that are like, allegedly thinking he's on their side are so wrong.
Yeah. Hey, Beach
You
Honey, how
know.
you doing? Yay.
Oh, hey, Beach.
And then we have a kitty tail over here.
But yeah,
What?
and they've been using "Born in the USA" as like an anthem as well.
Oh,
But that
jeez.
is not. I mean, that is not a patriotic song at all. It's basically bitching about like the Vietnam War.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty anti-establishment, that song. But all they hear is the chorus.
Speaking of, wasn't there some people using the other one, Fortunate Son?
I don't know that song.
That's
I've
another,
heard the title, but I don't know it.
yeah, it's another Vietnam War thing complaining, I'm not your fortunate son. I had to go to war. You know, one of those deals.
Why would they use that as an anthem if those are
Uh-huh.
the words? No, I mean, if those are the words, is that the chorus or just a verse?
That's a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a
That,
synopsis, basically.
no, what? Okay, so those lines are not actually in the song.
Right, right.
But didn't you just quote lyrics?
Um,
I swear you just quoted some lyrics.
hmm. Let
Like,
me.
I'm not your favorite. I didn't go. I'm not the one. I'm not your favorite son. What was that you said? It sounded like a chorus.
Um, it was kind of a synopsis of it ain't me, it ain't
No, no,
me,
no,
I
no,
ain't
no.
no
Well, see,
senator's son.
those are lyrics, and I'm asking where those lyrics come in the song. Are they a verse or the chorus?
The it ain't me is the chorus.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, that should not be so difficult to extract info out of you. um, okay, well, if that's the chorus, that probably gets repeated, and those right wingers should know what the hell it's about if they're using it as an anthem.
Yeah, and I've heard it used, unless unless I'm foo-foo. That's entirely possible that I'm just totally. Uh-huh.
Well, in any case, I don't know the song. Who's it by? Is it Springsteen?
Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Oh, well, no wonder I don't know it. I hate them. No, seriously, they combine so many things I hate about music, like twanginess. I can't stand twanginess in music.
Okay.
They're a little too hillbilly for me.
Okay then. Yeah, I see where you're coming from there. I
Uh,
forget
the,
what the heck his name is. That
the
lead singer.
closest I get to that kind of thing is Irish drinking songs. I still insist that my parents being hippies and their love of folk music, which I did not care for, still nevertheless led me to loving Irish drinking songs.
Okay.
Because you have to admit, there's a little overlap, at least in terms of vibe.
Yeah, true, true.
You know, a drinking song might as well be called a folk song, frankly.
Oh, easily. Wait a minute. Oh, look at that. Beach says, I used to see Twisted Sister every Tuesday at a club in Westbury, New York.
Hmm.
A place called Hammerheads.
Well, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I'm trying to think of a song of theirs I've heard other than We're Not Gonna Take It.
I couldn't name one.
Yeah. Mind you, a lot of those bands tend to blend together for me unless I've been like a fan of theirs enough to buy an album. Like I could identify a Def Leppard song, no problem, and maybe Bon Jovi, but you know, like if you want me to get the difference between Rat, Winger, Poison, and Whitesnake, I might have a hard time of it if it's not their famous songs.
Okay.
You have no idea who these bands are.
I've heard of them, but
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know their stuff. Yeah.
All right. Well, have you ever heard Here I Go Again on My Own?
I think, is it something like "Here I go again on my own"?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Whitesnake. You know, and
Okay,
that's like their
okay,
most well-known song. Actually, Van Halen I could probably identify fairly easily. I mean, they have a
okay.
bunch of fairly famous songs and, you know, enough. Like, there are times when I'm listening to some, you know, that new game that's sort of like Wordle, but it's called Heardle, where they place like snippets of a song and you have to guess what it is?
No, I don't know that one. I'll have to look it up.
Well, the problem I have with it is a lot of the songs they pick are not songs I would ever have heard. There's a lot of 70s I've noticed. Um,
Hmm.
but like I do that with Roxette songs. Like seriously, they get 3 beats of the drum in. And when I say beats, I don't mean musical beats. I mean stick hit drum 3 times and I'm like, "Oh, I know which song this is." You know, it's just like even if it's a song I barely listen to because it's like on a B-side or something, or it's one of those demos that they did that got released like a few years ago that were never released, and they're of songs I've already heard, or one of those songs that was made for another artist because Per Gessle has written songs for other artists. A lot of people do. Like if it's one of those, I can still tell it's his style, even though someone else is playing it. You know,
Okay.
there's
Yeah.
just
Huh.
something distinctive about the way he plays music, or writes music rather, that makes his stuff really easily identifiable. In fact, it's very similar to how I can always tell when a character is being voiced by Rob Paulson. He has a
Hmm.
very distinctive voice. Once you know what to listen to or listen for, you cannot unhear it.
Okay then.
You know, it's kind of like Harry Shearer or Hank Azaria. I'm like really good at spotting them when I can't see their faces too.
Hmm.
You know,
I'm
so
gonna have to look
in
at
fact,
this.
a lot of the cast of The Simpsons.
I'm gonna have to look at this Heardle. I'll have to see what it
Yeah,
does.
Beach basically an internet version of Name That Tune. Now they only give you like 10, 15 seconds, maybe 30 seconds of the song, and they give it to you in like little tiny snippets, and you get more points if you get it quickly.
Okay. Oh
So
my. Yeah, there was
yeah.
one knockoff I looked at that involved identifying countries by their shape outside of context.
That's pretty easy.
Mm. I mean,
I
that's
mean, there's probably a few countries I wouldn't get because a lot of them are a little squarish, but for the most part,
moo moo.
also parts of Scandinavia might be tough because let's face it, Scandinavia, all the countries kind of look like mutant penises. So, I mean, but there's
Hmm.
also a version of Wordle called Sweardle where it's all filthy words.
I have not seen that one. I've seen the
Uh,
Canadian version.
oh, God. Well, wait a minute. Is that just Canadianisms or are they using fucked up spelling?
I'm not exactly sure. I I think they are Canadianisms.
Hmm.
It's called Canuck something.
Canuckle? I don't know.
Yeah, it
Um,
might be that. It might be
because I mean,
that.
I'm having a hard time thinking of Canadianisms outside of like the hoser.
Yeah, there you are. There you are.
I mean, I gather that there's some Canadian slang where it's like just shortening words, like jacuzzi becomes jacuzzi
Okay
kind of
then.
thing, but I'm having a hard time thinking of any other like specific to Canada words or terms or whatever.
Um,
I mean, what is ZAMB? Nope, you can't get Zamboni.
there. Well, that's a proper name.
And I
Canuckle.
know for sure that curling is too many letters.
Yeah. Oh, I love curling. I
Uh,
love curling.
yeah, it looks so silly to me. Bunch of guys with brushes following this big weird pill shaped thing with a handle on it. I mean, it just looks so goofy. But like
Oh,
seriously, there are only a few sports I think are goofier than that. Golf comes to mind. Golf is awfully silly.
oh my. Hit a ball, go after it,
You
and
left
hit it
out part.
again.
You
Huh?
left out part. Hit a ball with a crooked stick.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay. Yeah.
You left out that part. But yeah,
Uh,
I mean, what was the other one that I thought was? Well, I mean, I have to admit, I'm a little intrigued by Highlight just because it looks so unusual with that weird scoopy thing on your hand.
oh, yeah, right. I tried to play that many, many
Well,
moons
and
ago.
maybe part of why I'm intrigued by it is just because, well, Tron had that scene where they're playing that weird deathmatchy game with what looks for all the world like Highlight using an energy bolt.
Okay, okay.
You know,
I've also
so
tried to play. I've also tried to play lacrosse. That was
that one
not a
looks
fun
awfully silly
experience.
too.
Yeah, that was not a fun experience.
Hmm. Well, both of those, it looks like it has to be weirdly difficult to catch the ball.
Yes. And well, actually, I was pretty good at catching the ball, usually with my face.
Well, yeah, but you know what I
Yeah, I
meant.
know, I know.
And I mean, one game I really, really, really enjoyed because I was just so good at it was Ultimate Frisbee.
Oh, okay, okay.
I had this wild, like, Hail Mary shot where I guess my kinesthetic sense is just that good because it would sail around the field in this huge arc, and I could get it right to the guy who was running for it based solely on watching him run. I'd be like, I know where you're going to be when if I throw this frisbee at the right time, it will get to you based on where you're running, like how you're running right now. I was amazing at that shit. Right.
Mm.
And that shot was devastating. I mean, it felt a little unsportsmanlike to do it too often because let's face it, if the other team just doesn't have a chance,
Yeah,
they want to
okay.
not play anymore.
Yeah.
But I was really good at that. I love Ultimate Frisbee, which let's face it is basically football.
Yeah, basically.
You know, it's kind of like they're like Magic the Gathering. I had a deck in Magic the Gathering. It was the minimum of 25 cards, and I'd say like 98% of the time you'd get a Sarah Angel on the second turn, and that is devastating because like those monsters, I guess, creatures, whatever, are really powerful, like way overpowered because they're flying and they don't tap to attack. And I think they're like 5/5. Now, granted, this is from like years ago. I haven't played the game in like 10 years, and even that was half-hearted. But back in the day, that deck was so killer and nobody wanted to play against it because they were like, look, it's no fun, you just kick our ass. So I tried not to use the Hail Mary pass with the Ultimate Frisbee too often. I tried to
Mm-hmm.
reserve it for when we needed it.
There you go.
So yeah.
Now, there was a park near the college campus where I attended school that had frisbee golf, and
That one I've never played.
I had thought of trying that, and I never got around to it. But it looked like it could have been fun. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, I only really recently looked into it enough to know what the hell it was. And I have to admit, I was a little surprised because I didn't know about the sort of baskety thing you were supposed to get it into.
Yeah, huh?
I should have figured, but I really didn't know. Like, a part of me was thinking golf with frisbees. What do you like? Get it into a square or circular area somewhere? How does that work? I didn't know about the basket. So I didn't know how it was played, but I knew it had to be something outside of what I was thinking.
I do know that from what I saw and everything, I would have had a heck of a time with it because there were a lot of trees involved,
Oh,
and yeah, you're going around and through and everything else trying to get into that little basket with all these trees all over the place.
see, now that part I didn't know. I thought you were in an open field like a golf course kind of thing. I didn't know there were obstacles.
I didn't know if that was the run of the mill as far as frisbee golf course was concerned, or if that was a unusual course. I don't know. I mean, the last
Hmm.
time I saw it was like 30 years ago. Um, God, it's horrible when you can say, I did this 30 years ago, just so glibly. Uh,
Ah, gosh, 30 years ago, I would have been 16, so I was in high school.
okay, then.
Yeah.
30 years
See,
ago, I
I
was
hate being a
34.
December baby because it makes it so difficult to figure out what the hell grade I was in at a certain age. Because, first I have to be like, okay, I was born in December. So the year I would like say my birthday is, I really should say it was the year after that because that way the math is easier, but at the same time, it's also not true and it just get and then I have to remember, okay, when the hell did I start first grade? How old was I? Or maybe it's better to remember how old I was when I graduated because I might have been 17. So I guess that would have meant I was 16 for part of my junior year and part of my senior year. That can't be right. But I
Hmm.
guess I turned 18 in 1993, which is when I graduated, but I graduated, in like June.
Okay, then. Yeah, so you were 17 when you graduated, and then
Yeah. Saying I was 17 when I graduated makes it sound like I skipped a year. Like they bumped me up a year, but no,
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 I
I
did
was just
skip a
born in a funky part of the year, that's all.
I did skip a year, and I graduated at 16.
Hmm. I don't know. There were a couple of times I was offered this, that, or the other opportunity, and I now realize this was probably an autism thing, but I turned them down because I didn't want the change, because I
Okay.
liked staying familiar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was able to read when I was in kindergarten, so they kicked me out.
Mm.
Which I think back at that, and it's really what's the word I'm looking for? It's just too bad that you didn't have reading as common as it is now.
Mm.
There are these 5 year olds who couldn't read a book. And some of them were 6 and 7 years old and still couldn't read a book. Um, and I was the unusual one. Well, shit. I mean, for all the bad things that those two did, the one good thing I can think of is they caved into my demanding to learn to read. So I'm,
Well,
like 2 years old. I'm reading at a first grade level.
Well, the thing is that, like, okay, I started to mention this last week, actually, in the context of like relationships, but it maps on to the learning as well. Is I had a lot of supposed in my head. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do that. And one of the like, and I've now realized that's kind of an autism thing. It's like I don't really grok actual society, and so I basically looked at a lot of what people do and said, well, you're supposed to do that, you know.
Okay.
And one of the things that you're supposed to do is learn to read in school. So, I mean, I probably had the ability to read early. Goodness knows, like when I got into first grade, I started trying so hard to read as much as I could. And I was like definitely reading at a higher grade level by the time first grade was done. But some part of my brain said you don't learn until first grade, so I just didn't bother.
Okay. Okay.
And those SPOSDAs have screwed me up time and time again, just because a lot of them came from like TV and movies, because where else would I get it?
Okay. Yep.
And so navigating neurotypical society when you're not is fraught, to say the
Yeah.
least.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I needed those go tos, those, okay, here's what you're supposed to do in this situation. Because honestly, I never really know what the correct protocol is unless someone tells me.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So,
And my problem was I always fell behind because I was bored out of my mind. Um, I mean, I know it sounds like I'm patting myself on the back, but I was so far ahead of everybody else that it's what am I doing here? I should be in fifth grade. I'm 7 years old, and
well, I still remember like getting all these marks off of homework and tests because like I was doing the long division in my head.
okay,
And
okay,
they did not like that. They wanted me to show my work. I'm like, if I open up my head and hand you a melon baller, maybe you can see my fucking work. But as it is, if you want me to write it down, I can't even write it down the way I did it. Like I
yeah,
didn't do it the standard way. Probably because I'm goddamn autistic.
probably,
It's like some part of me was doing it a very non-standard or a very different way from what they were teaching, and it was faster, and I could keep it in my head, and I could just give them the answer. And
yeah,
having to show my work, I'm like, I don't even really know how to write this down.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm
Um,
not figuring it out, or I'm not writing it down as I figure it out. I'm doing it in my head. And in fact, if I stop to write it down, I'll probably lose the part of the equation I'm on and have to start over.
okay, yeah, sure thing.
It's like when someone's counting jelly beans and you distract them and they're like, oh, crap. One, two, like they
Yeah,
forget where they were. Yeah. It's same thing. I'm not sure I could complete a math problem if I have to write down what I'm doing when I'm doing it in my head.
yeah. Um, I don't know that I was ever at that point where I had a special method or anything, but the whole show your work thing, oh God, that got my goat. Yeah. I think I was just
Oh,
doing the individual instructions, if you will, the individual computer instructions very quickly.
computer instructions.
Yeah, in the head,
Oh. Sorry. Half the time when you decide to be all slangy like that, I take you literally.
Okay.
You say computer, we're using computers. I know you've worked with computers. Obviously, I'm going to be confused by that.
Moo.
I mean, for all I knew, you were talking about a computer class.
Oh well, those were fun. Yeah.
Okay, but the point is that I didn't understand you because you used a non standard way of expressing yourself.
Well, there's my strangeness, if you will. Yeah. You've got your strange way of doing long division. I've got my strange way of talking. I anyway. Oh my, oh my. Okay, I keep thinking that there's a new line of text in the side chat. No, it's the same one every time. I need new glasses. Can't afford them when I need them.
Well, I'm glad I got the LASIK done.
I don't know. If I had the money to do it, I don't know if I would. Because what I'm thinking is, what happens when your prescription changes?
A lot of places will do touch up. Some of them say you might need like reading glasses kind of thing, but just because it's a process of getting older, you get it done soon enough, like young enough, and it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Like for a really long time, it won't matter. Although I will say this, a lot of things are blurry close up. And if you ever got it done, the last thing I'd want to do is be on a live stream while you're kvetching about how sandy your eyes feel.
Oh my, okay.
Because, like, for a while, your eyes will be pretty dry and you have to put drops in them almost constantly. And it really does suck. And it's different for everybody. Like, for me, it was much more minor than the one lady who got hers done the same day as mine. We both came back for a follow up the next day and she was in pain. Oh my God. Like, she could barely stand it. Meanwhile, I'm like, okay, this is a little irritating, but eh. So I
Okay.
mean, your mileage may vary, but knowing you,
It would be kind of icky because my eyes are dry anyway. The kidney disease promotes dry eyes. Not as bad now as they were last year, but still bad enough to be noticeable.
okay, yeah, well, I guess it makes sense because, kidneys, water, urine processing, all of that. I guess it probably would have a lot to do with your hydration level, wouldn't it?
Moo. Many
Yep.
much moo.
Yep.
There's three M's in there. Many much moo. Okay.
Yep.
Along with Minnesota mining and manufacture.
J. Jonah Jameson Jr.
Yeah, there you go.
It, I remember there was an episode of The Big Bang Theory where Raj was going off. He's like, why does Stan Lee make all of these alliterative character names every time? I mean, he didn't express it exactly like that, but it really, like, they were all going to go meet Stan Lee and get comic books signed, and it pissed him off.
Oh
Like,
my.
Raj asked the question and it pissed him off. So everyone else got, like, to my friend Leonard from Stan Lee, Excelsior, like that. And Raj, he's looking at his, he goes, to Raj, Stan Lee. And it's like, because it pissed him off about the alliterative names thing. It amused me. Wonder if he ever did actually explain it, because, like, a lot of the pissing him off part happened off camera. So,
But there's yeah, it's something I had noticed. You had Peter Parker and then J. Jonah Jameson Jr. and then you had how
mhm.
many of the others did you have? But there were a bunch of them.
Yeah. I don't know. But
Oh, boy.
uh, it's weird because, like, the movies for Marvel have been much better than the ones for DC these days, but some part of me always prefers the DC heroes. Like, I mean, I guess it's because when I was little, I thought Superman was badass. Not really for any reason other than the fact that he could fly under his own power.
Okay. Okay.
Because what I wouldn't give.
Yeah.
Although it occurs to me that unless you had other superpowers, flying like that would probably suck, at least without goggles.
Right.
And
Right.
it would probably get pretty cold. I mean, I remember how cold it was just riding a motor scooter in this case, at 30 miles an hour. It's fucking
Mm-hmm.
freezing, even with a jacket on.
Well, the other one that got me was the way Superman would go beyond the atmosphere, into deep space, and he's not dead. Uh,
Well, he's
so
Kryptonian, though. I mean, he's pretty invulnerable to a lot of things, and probably including, decompression.
okay, yeah,
Well, you
it's
got to remember, superpowers are effectively supernatural.
yeah, yeah.
So if you're expecting the rules of science to apply in every situation, you're just not going to enjoy what you're reading.
Hmm. But
Uh,
yeah, with what few comic books I was allowed to have and read, I did prefer DC to Marvel.
I don't know. It's weird.
Um,
Like, looked it up once a while back to find out why the hell it is that superhero comics were more like more prominent than other subjects, and there was like a reason for it that was like, oh well, during World War II, people needed a pick me up or something, and so all of the like noir and horror comics were like, nah, we don't want this crap, and so they had superheroes, and they survived like that national feeling of meh. So that's why I was never the biggest superhero fan to begin with. I liked a few, but just the genre as a whole did not attract me that much.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Oh my. And
So,
I have not looked at a comic book or graphic novel or whatever you want to call it in a very, very long time, so I couldn't tell you what it was like now compared to what it was like, 50 years ago.
well, I usually keep a comic book in the John. Like most people these days go in there with their phone. Me, I'm in there with like Bloom County, Calvin, and Tintin, you know?
Okay. Now
I
I
mean,
have,
occasionally I'll stick Watchmen or ElfQuest in there, but still.
okay. Now I have a whole bunch of the Bloom County collections,
Hmm.
the older collections. I don't have the most recent, unfortunately. Um,
Uh, I have a lot of. Well, another comic strip I was into for a while was Foxtrot, but after a while it got super repetitive. So, yeah, it's like, how
Foxtrot.
many times can Paige and Jason fight?
Okay then.
How many times can he throw Quincy, his pet lizard, at her? It just got really old after a while. And like, I mean, it didn't stop me from reading it, the fact that they go to church, but it was annoying.
Okay.
I mean, I can't begrudge people their beliefs. I wish it hadn't been there. It would have made me enjoy it more, but it is what it is, you know?
It's Moo. That's what it is.
And that's something that's so hard to get theists to accept is that I really don't care what you believe as long as you can be neighborly towards other people. Like, I seriously don't care what you believe as long as it's a personal thing and not being foisted on others.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm.
But getting them to release their mental image of the evil baby eating atheist is next to impossible for some of them.
Well, I don't know. Excuse me. What it was like many, 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 many years ago, but the Cold War had a lot to do with that. That whole godless communist thing.
I didn't
Uh,
say communist, and I didn't mean it that way at all. I was referencing the baby eating atheists very specifically because a lot of them just think we're witches.
yeah. Right.
A lot of them think, for whatever reason, that we're going around abusing kids. you
Yeah.
know, because we have no morals, because we have no God, and where else would we get our morals? And don't you dare say empathy, you atheist rat bastard.
Uh huh. Yeah.
It's just like you can't deal with some of those people. Some of them will take you on your own terms. It's pretty rare because the ones who will also aren't debating.
Right. No, I remember one conversation across the street from where my ex had her house years ago. The guy there, we had just met and we were talking and stuff, and I don't remember why it came out. Whereas, I'm atheist, and there was a look of fear on his face. I mean, you don't believe in Jesus? It's like,
Well, it's weird how
yeah,
many of them just react to the name, to the word. Like there's that story. I mean, I'm sure it comes from somewhere else, but I saw Richard Dawkins tell it first, where it's like, some daughter comes out to her mom as an atheist. She goes, "Look, not believing in God is one thing, but an atheist,
Yeah,
it's kind
yeah.
of like these days, all you have to do to the right wing is say socialist, and immediately you're a goddamn Nazi to them." You
Yeah,
know,
never mind that those are on opposite ends of the stick, but what the hell?
Cha. But you say socialist, and they probably picture like Gorbachev with his birthmark, and papers, please, and everyone wearing gray.
Uh-huh,
It's
yeah.
like that's probably what they picture when you say socialist, and you cannot get them to accept that you mean Sweden. That you mean Scandinavia, because they insist, nah, nah, nah. Which the hell country was it? Argentina?
Where, what, when?
Well, because every time they would, say, "Oh, you want socialism just like this South American country," I forget which one, and we're like, "No, we mean Sweden." They're like, "You don't get to mean Sweden. We've already decided what you mean by socialist."
There you go. There you go.
And I forget what it is. Is it Argentina? I swear, if it's not Argentina, I don't remember. But
I is up
hold
to
on,
looking
I'll
to
just look.
making. Wait a minute
Countries
now.
in South America. I want a list. Brazil, Chile. Oh, Venezuela.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure it's Venezuela. Wait a minute. How is it that isn't Guyana in Africa? In Uruguay? Maybe I'm wrong. No,
Um,
Uruguay isn't. I thought Guyana was in Africa.
I thought so too.
It says South America. Maybe it's one of those things where it's got a very similar name, but it's spelled differently.
Could be. Yeah, I see.
Let's see,
Okay, Guyana is just to the east of Venezuela, right next to Suriname.
let's see. Maybe I'm thinking of Ghana.
Could be. Could be. Could be. Could be.
Wow, this is a lot of countries. And I really wish they'd let you sort by name. Yeah, maybe I'm thinking of Ghana instead of Guyana. Oh, well. Like I said, though, they sound similar enough, don't they?
Yeah, indeed. My, oh my, oh my. Boy,
There, Miss
the
Columbia. Oh, you're
side chat's
right. There
been.
are 7 minutes until feeding time, aren't there?
Oh my. Yeah, the side chat's been rather quiet lately.
Well, how many people are still watching? Anyone?
Says four. I'm probably one of them, so
Yeah, it does say 4. I'm opening the chat. Tell me if it bumps up to 5.
it'll take a while. I know that much, but let's.
Well, it seemed to take half a second when I did it last time. Also, I seem to vaguely remember that like I have to refresh for it to see me again. I don't know. It's not worth it anymore.
It just kicked up.
Oh, just as I closed the window. Oops.
I like it. Oh
Yeah.
my, oh my, oh my. And it's back down to 4. Yeah, so it took a while to register your arrival, but the departure was just like that. Yeah.
Well, you know what's mildly annoying is earlier today I made a post on Twitter and it got a reply, but I couldn't see it.
I've had that happen to me a couple of times. Not very often, but it has happened.
Hmm. So, okay, here's a weird sort of hypothetical question, and
Alrighty.
please try to answer it in the spirit in which it was intended. Um, imagine we were able to like genetically cobble together biological creatures that had never existed before. Now, further imagine that one of the species we create is like they're meant as sort of servants for people. They do labor. But here's the thing, doing labor, not necessarily completing it because that's a mistake someone made, but just the act of doing labor genetically is coded into them to feel good. They love to work. In fact, if you make them stop working for anything other than sleep and meals, they get kind of pissy about it, right?
Okay. Okay.
So effectively, we've created a race of willing slaves, but they're not unhappy about it. Was that ethical or unethical to do? And would it be ethical or unethical to stop them now that they exist?
All right. Now that second part is easier for me because if they are experiencing joy from the labor, I'm thinking that stopping the labor, allegedly freeing them from their bondage, would be the worst thing to do to them.
Which is what I said to the person who suggested it. I
Okay.
was like, yeah, I mean, we would see it as liberation. They would see it as like removing almost the purpose of their life, the thing that made them happiest.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'd be like, look, it's kind of like we just freed the shit out of you. We freed you from like yourselves, basically.
Can I go back to my labor now?
Right. So and then I mean someone said, well, what if we just breed it out of them? And it's like, well, I'm sure there would be generations going, man, I wish I could be as happy as mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it probably would be unethical as hell to create such a race, but once they do exist, I don't know. I
I don't
mean,
know. Is it unethical? I mean, you're basically creating a machine. I mean, we are meat machines, for example, so, there's no big
sure.
deal there. Um, so you are building a machine to a purpose. Is that all that bad? I don't,
Well, I mean, now we're getting into a certain amount of epistemology,
Yes.
where
Yes.
it's like the theory of self and the mind and all of that. I mean, if we create a species that is sentient, at that point, do we really have any kind of mastery over them in any moral or ethical sense? I mean, I'm sure some people would say yes, because they're created and they're not quote unquote real, probably because they're not human. Yes, that's almost certainly the creationists saying that, if they did, if anyone did. Um, but I mean, really, it's like we created a race of willing slaves, which sounds really awful. But if they love what they do,
Yeah. Then give it to them. Yeah.
it seems really hinky to do any of it, really. And I mean, we would have to determine, are they sentient or are they just like performing tasks by rote? Are they self-aware in any fashion? Because if they weren't, I suppose it'd be perfectly ethical. Then again, creating a race of creatures that are not like self-aware might be considered cruel by some people. So I mean, there's so many, like, I guess part of the problem is no one's going to agree with anyone about where to draw these lines.
Mm-hmm. And it's all the basis of um, the basis of morality, the basis of self, the basis of obtaining pleasure from what you're doing and that sort of thing. Yeah, it's a whole. You've got to really think about the definitions.
Well, I mean, one of the things where I've had trouble communicating with people is, well, the definition of person, because I maintain that my cats are people.
Oh yeah,
They have
sure.
distinct personalities. They are individuals. I'm pretty damn sure they're self-aware. You know, in my book, that makes them people, but I've had some folks go, no, it's a synonym for human and nothing else. You know,
Mm-mm.
and it's really tough to deal with those people because now you're kneecapped. You can't talk to them about your point of view because they won't even consider it.
And okay, the thing that comes to my mind is it's very colonial, that attitude of theirs. Um, you know, the same sort of attitude that the Dutch had when they went south, you know, to South Africa. Um, you know,
Well,
they are not like us, therefore they are not. Well, maybe it's not the case that they're not people, but they're not people like us, so they're not as good as
well, but
we
I'm
are.
literally talking about not people.
Yeah, huh?
Like whether they're like us or not. There's folks who like. I mean, I've asked the same folks, and I can never get an answer out of them. If aliens showed up, intelligent extraterrestrials visit Earth, are they people? If you can carry on a conversation with them, are they people?
Of course they are. Absolutely.
Well, these folks will say no. That people equals humans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be right back. I have cats to feed.
Meow. Oh my, that is the thing there that, yeah, when you are had by cats, there is always the feeding going on. Oh my. I I do miss having multiple cats, or being had by multiple cats. That's actually the better way for me to put it. Because you don't have a cat, the cat has you. And cat lets you know that you are had. Oh my word! I remember. Well, let's see when we had Miranda, Winston, DC. Um, that was a good bit of time where there were the three of them. Um, and then came Celia and Merlin. So at one point there were five, and that was an interesting collection of people there, and especially when the kittens arrived. I mean, I watched the family dynamic. Uh, as you saw Merlin and Celia bond, definitely as you know, a spousal bond, if you will, and then when Celia was pregnant, um, Merlin would stand by the food bowl, guarding it for Celia. You know, when she ate, when she had her fill, then he would eat. Then the other cats could eat. You know, the non-family cats, if you will. And then when the kittens arrived, the kittens would eat. Then Celia would eat. Then Merlin would eat. Then the bottom of the totem pole. And yeah, I did not realize at that time that cats bonded the way I saw here, and I didn't realize that cats had a family system such as the one I saw. But it was a wonderful learning experience. It really was. I miss those guys. I do. But oh well. What are you gonna do? Oh my. So I don't know. Where is where is the fur face? I do not see the fur face. Me, me, me. There she is. Hi, you.
So it turns out that Kate was hungry too.
Oh
So
boy, what you having?
Fruit Loops.
Oh my, that sounds tasty.
It is.
When was the last time I had a Fruit Loop? A long time ago.
No, go too far, far away.
Yeah, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my, oh my. That's what I'll have to do. Is sometime between now and the weekend, I'll have to buy a box of
Watch Star Wars?
cereal. Well, I don't know. Maybe I've got a copy of it around here, an
Hmm.
original copy. Yeah, Han shot first. But
Yeah.
but then tomorrow, let's see. Tomorrow is Friday, so tomorrow evening I get to go downtown and I get to see a ball game. And then who knows what time I'll get home.
Hmm.
Oh my. But that's okay.
Yeah, I think my only regret about leaving San Diego is I never did go to Comic Con.
Oh.
I always figured it'd be too expensive, and I hear all the horror stories about getting into panels, and just apparently it gets pretty cold at night, and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm just like, you know what? It sounds like a giant pain. Excuse me, giant pain in the ass. Um, I'm not sure how much I'd even enjoy it. Most of me just wants to go onto the convention floor to where all the booths are,
Okay.
and that's almost certainly not worth a ticket.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I could just see you. You've been in San Diego for what period, and then now you're gonna move to Vermont and then fly cross country to go to Comic Con.
More likely, I'd fly cross country to go to the solstice parade.
Okay. Okay. You are
Mm-hmm.
doing that before you go east, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, the
Oh
solstice
my.
parade's in June. My new place isn't ready till July anyway.
Tayo Korostu.
Yep.
And then there's this kitty. Yes. Is the kitty going to the solstice parade?
Mm.
Oh, you. Somebody hates these scritchies. Somebody hates this. It's amazing, though, the way she will approach me and say, pay attention to me, pay attention to me. One of those deals.
Mm. Well,
She reminds me of what
Columbia
I.
does that,
Hmm?
but as soon as I start petting her, she walks away.
I don't know some of these kitties.
I mean, she walks back, but she walks away. I think that's kind of
Yeah,
obnoxious.
that's weird.
You
No,
know,
but
it's kind of like it's almost like when they start kneading, they start making biscuits and all of that.
yeah, huh? Yep, 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 yep.
Um, well, I think it might be something akin to that. Or like a dog that circles around 3 times before lying down.
Okay.
It might just be some sort of kitty ritualistic behavior that they do.
Oh my. But you is the kitty, Liz. You is the cat. She reminds me of me at the age of 4.
Okay.
You want attention, so you go about getting it whatever way you can.
Hmm.
Oh man. What do you think, huh, honey? Oh, I don't know. She's the wonderfulest kitty. She's the most bestest kitty of all.
Well, that's just simply objectively untrue because Kitty was the best kitty of all.
Moo. Don't let your two hear
Hmm.
you say that.
Well, I've told Columbia many times that she is a very close second to Kitty.
Okay.
It's probably not true, though. I liked Bat and Dizzy better, I think. So she's fourth.
No, no, no. That's
Mm.
horrible.
Mm.
Give her an inferiority complex.
Now, if you want to talk about being an attention whore when you're a cat, oh my gosh, Xander. He's one of those cats where, like, if he hears Columbia purring, he comes in and tries to edge her out of wherever it is so that he can be the one who's sitting on my lap and getting petted. And Columbia is a bit, I don't want to call her skittish exactly, but if even if I shift too much in place, she will bolt from my lap sometimes.
Moo.
I have to be very careful if, like, say, I get an itch on the backside of my thigh and I want to scratch it, but I don't want her to run away.
Okay.
To be
Yeah.
pretty gentle about it, you know. So Xander comes up and he hears her purring and he wants attention. And so he starts swatting at her tail to make her leave.
Oh my.
Mm-hmm. He is a little brat.
Some people's kittinesses.
Um, I'm starting to wonder if that's just a young boy kitty thing because Ivan did the same thing. For that matter, so did Rover.
I just
And
have to
those were
get.
all boy kitties. I haven't had a girl kitty do that, but the last time I had girl kitties that wasn't Columbia was Squeak and Dizzy, and that was the 1990s.
I don't know. It's just interesting for me to get accustomed to a kitty by the name of Rover.
Well, that was the point,
Uh huh.
because it was weird. It was unusual. Besides, don't cats rove?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, they do. They stake out their territory. And then, of
So,
course, there was always the kitty by the name of Spot.
well, I mean, why not?
Yeah, why not?
It's just weird how there are some names that are just, you only call a dog this one.
Hmm.
Isn't that a little strange?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, my,
I've been pondering, like, if I get a cat after Columbia, I have a feeling I should because Xander will get lonely. I'm convinced. Um, what sort of cat? I know that I haven't really had a black cat since Dizzy, and I know that they get adopted the least. So I'm thinking I'll do that.
okay.
But that's a big ol' if. And if, I mean, it's weird how it happens. Either all the cats are the same age when I have them, or it's an older female and a younger male. I've never had an older male cat and fill in the blank, whatever it is. You know,
Okay, okay.
this has never happened.
My DC and my Civi got along really, really well. DC was, let me think, about 5 years old, and Civi was a kitten. Civi was a female, and DC was a male. Took him a while to get used to her, but he kind of liked her after a while.
Well, I mean, so maybe if I get a cat after Columbia, I should get a girl cat for Xander's new sib.
Daddy's still go on to into.
And this is assuming I even get another cat. I probably should and shouldn't, like for various reasons. I mean, what if I want to travel, like get out of Vermont for the entire winter? It would be difficult to have the cats be okay with that. So, I mean, maybe after Columbia, I don't get another cat. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what I'll do as far as Sylvia's concerned. Well, she's probably going to outlive me. So,
Well, I've
yeah.
been thinking about how to get the cats across the country when I move.
Put him in a lunch bag.
Well, I mean, the airline says, okay, you have to. These are the ways you can transport a pet. You have to have this carrier and that carrier that's approved by was these guys and blah 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 blah. And it's like, well, okay, it's. I mean, so they have rules for it, is what I'm
Yeah, huh?
saying.
Yeah.
But it's a very long flight, and it's not like I'm bringing kitty litter with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, well, unless they have some sort of like cat area at an airport where you can let them relieve themselves, I have a feeling it may cause an incident.
I don't
Now,
know.
there are websites to tell you how to do this stuff. And so I've been doing the research, but it still seems, I don't know, like it's going to be miserable. You know?
Yeah, I
Like,
don't
and it's
know.
8 hours of flying time, never mind
Oh,
the layover.
I was going to ask. I was thinking 6, but it's 8. Okay.
Well, it might be 6, but there's still going to be a layover. And it's like, what do you do with a cat for that long? They're going to hate being in those carriers.
Yeah. Well, are you sure? I mean, this one over
Yes, I've
here.
done it before.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Well,
this one over
I
here.
mean, Xander, not really so much with a long travel like that. But when I moved from Seattle, I had to take Columbia on my lap.
Okay, okay.
You know, I mean, she was in a carrier, but there was nowhere to put her
Um,
because the carrier was a Delta approved carrier that did not fit under the seat in front of me. You
oops.
know, so I'm just like, I think they intended me to put it in the overhead bin, but I'm like, I'm not sticking my cat up there.
Okay then.
You know, so
Yeah,
I rode with her on my thighs the whole time.
this one, no problem in the carrier on the Illinois trip. Um, as a matter of fact, she seemed to kind of like it in there. Um,
Hmm.
she, she wanted to go back in when I took her out to relieve herself. And
Well, before Xander, Columbia would hang out in her carrier all the time. But she doesn't like to be trapped where Xander can get at her now, so she never uses it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Philip. How you doing?
I mean, it's
Yay!
kind of a shame because she was absolutely adorable in there, but.
Oh my. What do we have? Pictures? Oh, look at that, will ya? Yeah, look at that.
So she did like her carrier pre Xander, but
Kitty
also she looks
face.
a lot younger in those photos.
Yeah, she was a lot younger in those photos. Where was that? Seattle?
No, that's San Diego. I recognize the dresser, but in fact, I had to buy the carrier before I went to San Diego in order to go to San Diego. So she really didn't have time to get to like it until we left.
Moo. Okay. Moo, 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 moo.
But yeah, I don't know, she's getting up there. I really should do the math to figure out her age, but I mean, I've been trying to prepare myself for the fact that eventually, before much longer, she's not going to be around,
Yeah,
and that's
and
going to be hard.
it's heartbreaking.
You know,
Definitely.
I do not want to go through the thing where they put her to sleep at the vet. Cause I mean, you're supposed to be in there with the cat, so their last moments are not like all fear and stuff, that they're, in your lap, warm and protected and all of that while they die. But I mean, sitting there as your pet dies in your lap has gotta fuck with you.
Oh yeah.
So I'm hoping one day I just walk in and there she is on the floor, you know?
Well, that's what happened with Miranda. Um,
Yeah.
that entirety of the night before, I'm on the couch, she's in my lap, and I want her last moments to be where she felt safest, and she absolutely refused to die.
Mm.
She was just hanging on, and I finally had to go to sleep, and I woke up and there she was stiff on the floor.
Mm.
So it was like she was holding on, basically, it's like, fuck you, I'm not.
Really not sure what you do with a cat in that situation. I mean, you can't just throw her in the dumpster.
Well, I took her to the vet, where she was taken off to be cremated.
Hmm. I've never really understood the appeal of cremation. Like, I mean, sure, you can fit in a coffee can on the mantle or some crap, but I'm like, I'd rather I fertilized something. I don't want what made me destroyed that way. If it's gonna like break down or whatever, I want it to be recycled back into the system.
Okay, yeah, I see where that works.
So I mean, it's not like I believe in reincarnation or any crap, but that's the closest I could ever get to it in this real world.
Mm. Yeah, but
So
it was kind of weird, if you want to put it that way. I mean, I had her corpse in a plastic bag, wrapped up in about 3 or 4 layers, and then waiting in a defriginator until I was able to take her up to the damn vet.
Hmm. Did they require an appointment?
No, they didn't require an appointment. It was just a matter of me getting there.
Well, I was really asking because I don't know. Like, if the worst happens, do I just walk over or do I have to call them first?
I'm trying to remember if I
Oh, hey,
called
Mage is
ahead.
here.
Hey, mage, yay! Das de Petrado, lekker de
And
piscina.
apparently, Philip is here too. I didn't notice.
Yeah, I saw him come in. Moo.
Yeah, so anyway, I don't really have anything else on my mind so much.
I don't know
I
if I
mean,
have a
nothing
mind.
I can recall.
I don't know if I have a mind. Working on that one. Oh my, no, it's just I don't know. I'm second guessing myself quite a bit. I did buy that ticket to the game tomorrow, and I'm thinking, gee, did I really want to do that? And that whole thing. Once I get
Mhm.
there, and I'm in the stands and cheering on my Nationals. Okay, it'll be okay. But I do a lot of second guessing anymore. I second
Now,
guess myself way too much.
now, Mage, when you say mushrooms, I'm just asking, you
Psilocybin?
know. But you know, I tell people I'm a liar, but nobody believes me.
I saw that one.
Eh, I don't know. It's kind of like was that thing that the words on the other side of this sign are false, and it says the words on the other side of this sign are true.
Oh yeah,
It's one of
yeah,
those deals. It's one of
yeah.
those sound of one hand clapping kind of bullshit, like thought experiments. I'm not really a fan of a thought experiment that can't be solved. Because it's like someone came up with it and there's no right answer, so why bother? I mean, I guess maybe people who bother are folks who haven't yet worked out some flavor or other of that sort of thing a long ass time ago. I don't know. It's kind of like when someone said, "No wonder you didn't enjoy Blade Runner if you like asked all the questions that movie is asking when you were 8."
Yeah, okay.
I mean, there have been a lot of times where I've discovered people are like saying this brilliant ass movie is so amazing. I'm like, really? I was bored. They're like, but you didn't get the message? I'm like, what was the message? They go, blah. And I'm like, that's what the movie was about? Oh my gosh, how simplistic. Doesn't everyone know that? That kind of thing. I'm like, I guess people don't. I don't know. Like,
Oh, so
that's
many of
that's
them
one of the
don't
things, like,
bother.
ever since I discovered I'm autistic, I'm discovering all these things that I thought were common to everyone else's experience, and apparently not.
Right, right,
So,
right.
it's been strange, to say the least. Maybe this is another one of those things where it's like, what, doesn't everyone do that? Apparently not. I don't know.
Oh my. Well, a lot of people just don't take the time.
Yeah, and that's another one that knocks me out is people who don't have these introspective moments where they ponder these weird questions just because there's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Doesn't everyone do that? Apparently not. It's kind of like the folks who never read for fun. It's hard to imagine life like that. They seem to be enjoying themselves, but I can't picture it.
I don't know. Sometimes I look at them and I wonder if they're enjoying themselves. When I'm walking around out in the world, going to the grocery store to get dinner or whatever it is, I see so many of my neighbors, and the expressions, if you want to call them that, on their faces, they are basically expressionless. They're just going through the motions almost.
Well,
And
but it's not like you're seeing them at home. I mean, maybe they're emotionless out on the street because really there's nothing happening, but they get home and all of a sudden it's partay.
I don't know, maybe.
Or
Um,
maybe they're just like folks, like I don't know if you've seen the show The Goldbergs, but goodness knows I've known a few people like the dad on that show where what they end up doing is like, oh, I just want to go home, sit in my recliner and watch TV, and I love that, and that's how I want to spend my time. And I wouldn't necessarily want to do only that, but then again, I tend to multitask. Like if I'm watching TV, I've usually got a video game going and I'm checking my email while that's happening. I mean, not physically, but I'm watching my email to see
right,
if something
right.
comes in. And I might be eating something, and almost certainly taking some hits off of the old marijuana, and it's like,
Yay.
I've got all of this stuff going on, so many processing cycles taken up by something. So I'm certainly not the sort to sack out in a recliner all day, or at least at the end of the day after coming home from work, and just watch the TV. I can't do that. But apparently some people can and like it quite a bit. And
Yeah.
it's hard to judge them for that. I mean, there's a lot of people who judge me for being a sci-fi nut. Why would you waste your life on all of that? And I'm like, how am I wasting it? How
Yeah,
is it not
right.
worthwhile what I'm doing? A life enjoyed is a life well lived as long as you don't hurt anyone.
There you go. Yeah. Although I do have to wonder, I mean, when I look around here, if so many of these people are into the IC light because they can't stand being alone with their own thoughts.
Okay, rewind. What the hell is I see light?
Oh, it's a really crap beer.
Is
It's,
it local?
yeah,
Well, that's why I never heard of it.
yeah, it's Iron City is the IC, and it's garbage, absolute garbage.
Well, I don't like beer to begin with, so I couldn't judge.
But the it seems to be the local pastime, just to get smashed while watching the Stillers.
Well, that sounds like something a lot of people do enjoy.
Mm,
And,
I don't understand it, but oh well. They don't
well,
understand me, so you know.
that's what I said. Well, I said that before. It's like a lot of these people. I still don't get how it is that painting your body in the team colors of whatever you like is perfectly acceptable. But you dress up like Princess Leia or Boba Fett, and people are like, "Oh, what's wrong with you?"
Yeah, huh?
Why is that? Where one is like, "Yeah, that's normal," and the other is, worthy of disdain. It doesn't make any sense to me. But then it also doesn't make sense to me that some people aren't into the make believe.
Okay then, yeah.
I mean, let's face it, things I think up in my head are so much cooler than anything I'll ever do in the real world. And I wish I could live some of those ideas, those fantasies. I think that would be awesome.
Well,
But there's
I,
all these other people like the sports nuts, the jocks, who are like, that's not worthwhile because it's not real. Imagination is for kids. Then I kind of want to smack those people.
well, I don't know. I do remember back in my younger days, the sports people used to do a lot of make believe because they would pretend that Cleveland had a team worth watching.
Har, har, har. Could you possibly deal with what I said on its actual terms?
Oh my. Well, I could, and you know, they don't do they don't do the sci-fi and that sort of thing because it's just not what they do. You know, what they do is good, and what they don't do is not good.
Nah, see, it's more than that because there's a lot of stuff they don't do that doesn't get the nerds treatment. You know, it's like, I mean, if all you do is read, they probably won't get on your case. But if you read sci-fi and do it openly, well, now you're a target. Especially if you look like the stereotypical nerd bag. If you have the glasses and the bad fashion sense and asthma, chances are good you're a target no matter what,
Uh-huh.
you know? So, and reading sci-fi and fantasy out in the open just makes it worse because they look down on it.
Oh my.
And I don't think that's right or fair. I mean, I'm happy to look down on them as dumb jocks, like bullet-headed, like dumbasses. I could do that, but I would only do it in revenge, as like getting some of my own back after they decide to be jackasses in my direction. If they didn't do that, I wouldn't have a problem. Not at all. I suppose that's a lot of words to say they started it, but still.
There you are. Oh well.
Eh.
Get it.
And did it ever piss you off that adults never took that as a reason to say, okay, fine?
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I punched him. He was teasing me all day, or he's the one who hit me.
Oh yeah.
And so
yeah.
all I did was get some of my own back to make him stop. And they're like, well, you're still both in trouble. And it's like, but none of this would have happened if it weren't for Spanky over there.
Yeah. Huh?
That's the one who should be in trouble, not me. All I did was defend myself. And sure, you may not like how I did it, but, well, where were you?
Yeah.
Why weren't you there to stop this little rat bastard? And I wish I could go back to childhood with the command of the language I have now so I could say all of that at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I had all those ideas in my head. I just didn't know how to express them.
Well, I will say that I did have enough command of the language to express myself, and I got in trouble for that.
Well, of course, it also doesn't help that adults rarely take kids seriously.
Right.
Like you can tell them something that's both complicated and sincere, and they will laugh because, oh, you're so cute acting grown up.
Yeah.
And that's a way of dismissing whatever the hell it was you had to say, even if it's very important. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I self-diagnosed at least the symptoms of autism. If I didn't know what to call it, my parents would not listen.
Yeah.
And like I've spent literal decades frustrated and angry because I could not get anyone to listen to me about myself because my age wasn't high enough.
Yeah. Yeah, and Mage, it's amazing. Sometimes I wonder if they realize, like your principal, that they are exacerbating the problem with that attitude.
Well, the worst one is when they said, oh, if someone's teasing you, just walk away. Like those little bastards don't have legs.
Right.
Like they can't follow you.
Right.
Like it's not social death in school to run away.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some of the worst advice ever. And parents are still giving it to kids. I'm like, these are parents who were in my generation. Did you forget what it's like to be a child?
Mm-hmm.
It is such a sore spot for me, and I am glad I never had kids because I would not want to develop that parent brain. I would not want to forget all of the lessons from childhood about what to do, what not to do, how to deal with a bully, why the bully should be the one who's blamed, not the kid who lashed out after they couldn't get any goddamn help.
Yeah.
I mean, that will probably stick in my craw for the rest of my life that I could not get anyone to take me seriously.
Oh
So
my.
seriously, if you have kids, listen to them when they are telling you things. They may be way more insightful than you think.
Oh my. It is poo poo.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people would be like, dude, just let go of the shit that happened to you back then. I'm like, you realize how much it shaped me? You realize how a lot of my instincts were like made to deal with bullies.
Yeah.
And when there are people out in the adult world now, I mean, sometimes it's hard to turn off the anti-bully gear. Even when someone is not being one, it's hard to turn off at times.
Oh my.
Well, oh well, I guess.
All I can say though is when I was younger, it's a good thing I didn't have free access to firearms.
Yeah, there's a good chance I might be like serving out multiple life sentences if I'd had access to some way to take down my parents back in the day.
Daya karasta na mekahoda.
I was not happy. And, I have to say, the vindication of them saying, yes, we were wrong, we're sorry, it felt good. It really did feel good. But at the same time, it was also a little disappointing because I'm like, well,
Took that long?
great. But, well, that and also, well, with all that wasted time, where's the amends?
Yeah,
Where's the
yeah.
restitution for the way you fucked up, more than 45 years of my life?
Dostorodia. Mm-hmm.
Where's that? And of course, there won't be any. So it's just it's so frustrating. I still feel like I'm owed some sort of real childhood.
Oh
I don't know what
gosh.
that would look like at this late date, but I can't help feeling like I missed out on something very fundamental to the life experience, and
Yeah,
I want it back.
absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, of course, this is sort of first world bitching because let's face it, there's, starving kids over across the water who will never have a real childhood. But damn it, I grew up around what I grew up around, and I would have liked a little bit more of some of the things I was seeing in terms of family life
Yeah, huh?
to the one I had.
Yeah, there are times I sit here and I wonder what it would have been like to have had parents.
Hmm.
I mean,
I wonder.
those two were anything but parents as far as I define it.
I wonder what it would have been like to have parents who weren't idiots.
Nesta.
Because, I mean, they freely admitted, yes, we had a lot of ideas in our head about parenting that turned out to be very wrong. And some of them were not right for the time. I mean, I still think that them telling me to re-gift something to someone when I was in like first or second grade, which of course made me never invited to a birthday party again.
Right.
They said, oh, well, I guess the world's just not ready for that. And I'm like, the world's never going to be ready for that.
Right.
That is not something any kid is willing to accept ever, unless they were like raised with it too. Like you're all raised on some isolated commune and they do that on the commune. Unless that's the case, you're never going to get kids to like getting a secondhand gift. What are you, high? And I don't mean that in the good sense.
Right.
I swear, some people are just so fucking stupid when it comes to kids. I mean, there's videos out there of parents pranking their kids. These little kids who are too young to understand what's going on. And just watching them break down, I'm like, you parents are such assholes. Like, I mean, I'm not one to promote gender stereotypes, but this one little kid, he's like, you got me a girl toy because they bought him like a Barbie or something.
Okay.
And I mean, he clearly wanted like whatever today's equivalent is of Transformers or G.I. Joe or whatever. and he gets a doll and he's not happy about it, and he clearly feels betrayed. His Christmas is ruined, and all because his parents wanted to get something funny, quote unquote, on video. And I'm like, you are the worst parent. Well, not the worst parents, but you know what I mean. Hyperbolically, the worst parents.
Yeah,
That's just
yeah,
so dumb. Don't do that to your kid.
yeah,
Seriously,
yeah.
that they are not equipped to understand that it's funny. So, I mean, that like watching some of those videos really did kind of piss me off. And it's like a lot of my childhood experiences were people thinking something was clever and not realizing that kids might not be receptive. They might not take it the way it's intended.
Oh my! But I'll tell you what would really be a shitload of fun. Well, I say that ironically, though. If one of those parents got the boy a doll, and he's like, "All right," it's like, and they're whoops.
Well, I mean, that would have been much funnier, but as it was, though, I mean, I know that they probably meant well, but they ended up doing stupid.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And I don't know. This is
Yeah.
probably one of the reasons why it's good I don't have kids, because I don't know. I mean, I don't know if any parenting technique I have in my head would work. I just have a lot of what not to do in my head.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. And there are a lot of things to not do, and you still have a hard time finding the things to do in that mess.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, okay, parents, what on earth is wrong with just dropping your kid off a block away? I mean, I know you want to be like, oh, my kid should be proud on their parent or whatever, but clearly your kid doesn't want that. Clearly, there's a social aspect to it. If you go and, like drop your kid off and shout at them, like, call me when you need a ride home or some shit, they're making a spectacle of themselves. Clearly, the kid is going to hate them for it. It's like maybe just drop your kid off a block away. And when you come to pick them up, they'll spot the car without you yelling and waving from out the window.
Uh huh.
It's like, seriously, don't you remember hating that shit as a kid? I mean, did you just forget? Or have you decided I'm a parent now, I can mess with my kid the way my parents messed with me? Because that's an extra flavor of mean.
Yeah, I don't know about that stuff because I didn't get to go anywhere. I didn't get to do anything with anybody, so there was no dropping off.
Well, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Oh, yes, yeah, absolutely. I just don't know what it's like firsthand.
Well, I mean, I get it though. Like, if there was ever music somewhere, my parents would make a huge deal out of like fucking swing dancing with each other, no matter how many kids I was surrounded by. And I'm sitting here thinking, dude, dance on your own time. Right now, you are making me even more embarrassed than I've ever been in school.
Okay.
But they didn't care. They were like, no, no, this is our thing. We get to do this. It's like, you shouldn't control us. And I'm like, no, I shouldn't. But at the same time, you should be a little considerate and maybe do that at a time when I'm not present, so that you're not making me feel like, oh, well, here we go. Another reason for the other kids to hate me.
Hmm.
Because seriously, I mean, when your parents are dorks, it does not help. It doesn't do good things for your social standing when your parents are dorks.
Oh my.
But, like, people who are parents now clearly don't remember what that's like.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they don't care. I don't know which, but it pisses me off either way. I don't know.
Maybe they're thinking, I got it done to me, so I'm gonna do it now.
That's kind of what I said before, but yeah, maybe.
Tayo Corosto. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like those folks who are all, wait a minute, I had to join the military to get my college paid for. Why should this generation get something better? They should have to do what I did because it was hard for me to do it. And it's like, aren't you supposed to leave a better world behind for future generations where they don't have to go through the shit you went through?
One would think, but that drive to uh, get the payback is strong. I don't know.
Yeah, Mage, just like that, where the mom gives the kid an alleged piece of birthday cake and it turns out to be a sponge. Of course, the poor kid cried. I mean, 5-year-old. That's just so not okay to do to your 5-year-old. Never, no. What kind of parent does that? How can you be so mean to such a small child? I mean, if the kid's like 15 or 16, fine, they can take it. They might laugh along with you, but when they're 5, no.
Oh, Justa.
I'm just saying, it's like I feel like I'm in one of those situations. You know those memes where it's like most atheists are better Christians than Christians. Sometimes I feel like I could be a better parent than other parents, but I know I couldn't. I mean, like there's a whole bunch of stuff where I'd be like, you know what? Maybe this kid can learn to change their own diapers. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of. I mean, I'd probably be a lot more willing to be a parent if there was less wiping involved. And I mean, I'm talking everything here, like chins and butts. I mean, noses, everything needs to be wiped. Kids are constantly sticky. At least when they're young enough, I mean, after a while, they stop, like they start getting a bit more clean, but
a bit.
Just, like babies are great when you can hold them and then give them back.
Yes. Yes.
Wouldn't want to take care of one. Babysitting youngsters was okay when they're like potty trained. That was all right. But babies, too messy.
Yes. Oh, boy.
Well, it's like almost 10 of 6, and I know I just had some cereal, but I'm hungry again, and I kind of want to make a stir fry because it's been a while.
Oh, my. Yeah, that's... You got me thinking about a stir fry.
The question is, what sort? I mean, I usually default to Asian, usually teriyaki or like soy sauce or something, but sometimes I like to mix it up, do like lemon pepper or go Italian, like a lot of paprika and oregano and garlic kind of Italian, that kind of thing.
An Italian stir fry?
Well, yeah, actually. I mean, you throw some meat in there, the right spices. You could go with marinara or whatever. I usually just go with like olive oil, and you can use pasta the way you might use pasta or like, yakisoba noodles or ramen kind of thing. You boil them up, you strain them up, and then you throw them in the frying pan with all the other stuff. Usually later in the cooking so they don't get too like dry. But I mean, that's a doable thing, and it's pretty good actually. I have a few techniques for making, both teriyaki stir fries and teriyaki soup that involves, it's when you add a lot of ingredients that makes it good,
Okay, then. Yeah, that's one thing I'm going to have to experiment with because I've wanted to do noodle dishes, like a noodle and sauce dish. Just have to work on what to use in the sauce, if you will, and then how much of the sauce to use.
Well, one thing you can do with like just either angel hair or vermicelli or something, you know how like chow mein has a tendency to be a bit on the al dente side, or at least the pasta, the noodles are in this weird sort of kind of stiff sort of thing. That,
Yeah,
I mean,
huh?
I guess
Yeah.
that's a result of being stir fried, because you can get that with Italian noodles, and it's actually pretty good. You know.
Got to work on that because I really need to work on eating cheap. As
Mm.
I'll see what happens when the 20th rolls around and see if we're still getting the food stamp largesse. I did get it last month. I didn't expect it, but there it was. So I was very happy about that. But when that ends, then I'm going to be eating a balance that's not being replenished. So I'll have to work on eating cheap. Let's put it that way. Yeah, just
Well, I mean, ramen noodles with the flavor packet can make a decent stir fry. I mean, I usually don't make it as soup. What I'll do is like fry everything up in the flavor packet with a little bit of like either oil or water or something, and then add the noodles after straining them a little bit later. It
okay.
makes something vaguely yakisoba esque, but I mean, yeah, it's not really, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I really do prefer to do it with like just Italian pasta, especially since that stuff's pretty cheap too. I mean, you
Yeah.
know how ramen noodles are like 50 cents a packet, give or take. I don't know what they
Right.
are for you. But the like a packet of Italian pasta, say angel hair or vermicelli or whatever, well, here it's like $1, and that's multiple meals worth.
Yeah, I
Where a
hear.
ramen packet for 50 cents is like one meal, unless you eat very peckishly.
I could get vermicelli here for $1 a pound. Yeah.
Well, I don't know about pound. I just know they have boxes. I've never really stopped to look at how much is in a box.
Yeah, these boxes that I find on the shelves, those are pound boxes. And
Well, that's probably what I'm seeing too. I just never bothered to look.
and the other one I like to do, but of course it's a little more expensive, is the
Mm,
penne and meatballs and say a sauce alfredo or something like that.
mm. I
Heavy
still
on the
need
penne. Hmm?
I still need to make like a pasta casserole thing. Like ziti maybe.
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah.
I mean, like I can do it, I'm pretty sure. I don't know, does a casserole need to cook with a lid on?
I'm tempted to say no, but I'm not positive.
I mean, I'm sure there's recipes where you use one, but my question is whether it's required. Is it?
Does a casserole require a lid? Does a casserole dish need a lid? Here we go. Covering a casserole helps the dish cook evenly, stay moist, and prevents burning. Uncovering
Mm.
helps with browning, crisping, and allowing for steam to release. In other words, they're not committing to they're not committing to an
Well,
answer.
well, no, I mean, it does sound like they're saying it depends on what you're after.
Yeah, okay.
It's kind of like when you go and you order gyoza or pot stickers, which is such a stupid name. But if you go and order them, they have them steamed and they have them fried. And, it's like there's no wrong order. I like them both, although the steamed ones are a little on the slimy side sometimes.
Sometimes,
But,
yes.
I mean, it sounds like that's what they're saying is what are you after? Here's how you get what you after.
Now you
That's
got
what it sounds like.
now you got me thinking. I haven't made pierogi in a whole long time, and I think maybe not today, of course, but pretty damn soon I need to make pierogi, which is the filled dough that is then boiled.
One of these days, I really do need to try kreplach.
Okay, okay, sounds
I don't
good.
know. I mean, like they mentioned it in The Big Bang Theory, and one side of my family is Jewish, and so I'm
Yeah.
all curious and crap. It's kind of like I also want to try both Jewish and Texan brisket.
Okay, okay, okay. And
because
then
they talked about it so much on that show.
I still have to make a Reuben. Yeah,
Mm.
it's just so involved.
Well, that's the reason why I haven't made my own brisket, is because it does sound like a very involved thing. In fact, apparently some recipes take days because they do like those dry rub things,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I just want to try it. I don't even know if I'm going to enjoy it. I just want to give it a whirl, a test drive.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind
Mm-hmm.
of like how the supermarket here, anyway, doesn't let you buy a singleton when it comes to things like soda. You have to buy a 12 pack or a 2 liter or something. You have to buy a lot of it. And if it's one of those novelty flavors and I don't know if I'm going to like it and I just want to try it,
Okay.
well,
Yeah.
you have to go to like a convenience store or something, or there's other supermarkets that do singletons and the drugstores do. It's always more expensive when you get it that way. But, if you really just want to try something instead of committing to a 12 pack, it's really
Yeah.
tough to do here. I'm hoping, because back in Vermont, they would have singletons all the time. I'm hoping that the supermarkets there still do, or if like that they're not purchased by some chain, and I know they have been, which likes to do the no singletons thing. I'm hoping that hasn't happened.
Okay.
Like, I know they've been sold to other chains. I just hope the chains aren't run by dipshits.
Hmm.
Is it?
Good luck.
Well,
Oh my.
I don't know. Sometimes I do wonder, like, if there is someone who got into business with nothing but good intentions. I'm going to pay my employees enough. I'm going to do this, that, and the other thing to make life better. I'll willingly take less profit myself. I'll earn as much as my lowest employee, whatever. I wonder how many of them stick to that. And how many of them, by the end of it, are just the worst of the capitalists? Like
Yeah.
the predatory types. I mean, like how much is the environment that changes people, or can they survive it and stay themselves?
Yeah. Difficult to tell. I don't know. Um.
And a much better question, what would happen if I were the subject under question?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
I.
y'all get asked that about yourselves sometimes, don't you?
I certainly don't think I would want to run a business. I mean, I was there enough and learned to not like it at all. So, no, I can't see myself willingly doing it. There's
well
sometimes. Hmm?
well, I mean, we all end up with aversions to something because when we were young it was used very badly in your direction, don't we?
Yeah, huh? Yep. There's the Tibetrada Palkalekorabadianta.
In
Yeah,
my case, it's shrinks. My parents tried to send me to a bunch of them to correct my behavior, despite the fact that, well, I mean, to be fair, no one knew that autism was anything other than like being Rain Man. But it's still like to this day, I hate shrinks because they were. I feel like they were used as a weapon against me.
okay, then. Yeah.
You know,
Oh, my. I got taken to some shrinks and made to feel horrible about it. Uh, do you want to be like grandma? It's like,
I don't know
Jesus.
what that means.
Um, I had a crazy grandmother. Uh, definitely had some problems, um, and ended up in psych ward more than once and shit like that.
So, do you make references to things for which I have no context on purpose to make me ask? Is that what's going on?
I don't know what. Oh, okay.
Well, like you said, not like grandma or whatever. Do you want to be like grandma, as if I knew what that meant? And I've never heard this story.
yeah. Come to think of it, I hadn't told that story, had I?
No.
Sorry.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean, that's the
it's
same thing that happens with all of your references to things that happened long before I was born. It's like you think I have the context when clearly there's no reason I should.
Tayo Korostu. I mean,
You know.
it might have been a lot better had the whole shrink thing been seen as something necessary to do, and then just do it and get through it and all that other stuff. But no, it was.
Well, I mean, maybe if the shrink thing hadn't been mostly try to be who you're not, I might not have had such a problem with it.
Oh,
But
well, that
a lot
too.
of it was, look, this is the wrong way to solve problems. And I'm like, well, here's why it's a problem in the first place. They're like, no, no, it's your responsibility to conform to everything. No one should have to treat you differently. And I'm like, yeah, they should. Because if they don't, they're hurting me. And they're
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, well, the society has rules. Fucking conform. And it was almost like gay conversion therapy, except it was behavior instead.
Okay. Yeah.
It was like, here's how you fit in. I'm like, well, okay, but fitting in means basically being a completely different person.
Yes. Yeah. Now you know where I'm coming from.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, though, I mean, let's put it this way. I've been in the position of wanting more friends and not being sure how to get them, and thus choosing something that makes me stand out to get noticed, which in the end only ends up pissing people off, right?
That.
And I've found that trying to like force yourself to have a novelty of some sort almost inevitably backfires.
Moo.
You see. So doing things that deliberately like emphasize your differences can cause you a whole bunch of social problems. Believe me, I've found that. So unless your weirdness is normal and organic rather than an affectation, I would say don't do it.
Oh.
Well, no, seriously. I mean, I tried all of those things, and the only thing that ever got me friends was just being me. I could not come up with a gimmick to force it where people would go, oh, wow, Kate, you're the funny one. It's like when I make jokes now, it's because I think they're funny, not because I'm trying to get other people to like me. If I make jokes to get people to like me all the time, eventually they're like, okay, this kid just got to go. So, yeah, that's my own experience of life anyway, is being a weirdo on purpose wins you no friends.
Uh, I'm not trying to get people to like me. I know you hate me.
Well, I don't know. I'd just rather people wouldn't would not run screaming that they're happy to be around me. I'm okay with that, or even just content to be around me would be nice.
Moo,
People whose
moo.
crazy matches my crazy, and we want to keep hanging out for some reason.
Oh my. Yeah, that's moo. It's very moo.
Mm,
Oh God. What do we
whatever.
got over here? Okay, well, yeah, that's an old comment that's been there for a while. Oh God.
Oh, you found Cadbury cream eggs. I can't seem to find them.
Oh,
Like
that.
there's all these cardboard standees up at the supermarket that have pictures of them and have the words on there, but I can't get any. They're not there.
Oh man, at the local Walmart, there are shitloads of them. And
Well,
as Mage said, yeah, they are quite a bit smaller than I remember them being.
hmm. Well, I'm starting to think I should just not go to my supermarket because they seem to have like an absence of a lot of things that I'm surprised by.
Okay.
Of course, I'm also having minor twinges of conscience because I sort of have stopped following all of the boycotts because honestly, ow, Xander, my word, because I can't keep up with them all,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's getting to a point where, well, what can you eat anymore?
Well, in this acquisition, what's the word I'm looking for? Environment, where
Hmm.
everybody is buying everybody. Uh, in order to boycott one thing, you pretty much have to boycott everything.
Just about.
And
So
I don't
I,
know.
I've I've gotten to a point where I'm not I'm just not bothering because I don't even know who are the bad guys anymore. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
everybody, even if there's a company that's not, it like how do I keep track?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm just not bothering.
I don't know. It's kind of nice where I do make stuff from scratch to some extent. I mean, not everything, but that helps a little bit because I'm not going to boycott myself.
Hmm,
But
I don't know. I hate to say it. I've been thinking about like making my own pizza. I mean, get a crust because I'm not making
yeah,
that.
right.
But, dressing it up with all the cheese and all that stuff myself. But in the end, it turns out to be more expensive to do that
Yes.
than it is to just buy a frozen pizza and make that at home.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well.
and I mean, I don't know. I've thought about other ways of pizza-ing, but not really. Like I've thought about buying some of that Pillsbury like pizza crust dough and just
Yes.
not using all of it at once, making mini pizzas.
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
You know,
Um.
I mean that might be a cost-effective idea. I don't know. I haven't done the math.
I know you can get breakfast sausage, and I don't know if you can turn that into a fair pizza sausage or not. You know the.
Well, that's another problem I've had is finding unspiced food that's in the freezer section.
Okay. Okay.
Now, not everything, it's like, ooh, Cajun style. And I'm like, couldn't I just get this that's just straight up and I'll season it myself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the answer is almost inevitably no.
Pita pizzas are easy and yummy. I have not had a pita pizza. I will have to try one.
I don't like pita. It's too heavy. I find eating it to be sort of a slog, honestly. By the time I'm halfway through it, I'm just like, it feels hard to breathe when I'm eating it.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I'm not, my breathing's not actually impaired in any way, but I mean, maybe I'm having a reaction to the bread. I don't know, but something about it is just really, it makes it hard to eat.
I came to love pita as a kid. Well, the Syrian family down the street, she would make pita quite a bit, and all the neighborhood kids got to have this stuff, and it was wonderful and yummy and tasty. And
I don't know. I'd rather just get a taco or a burrito.
okay then, okay.
I mean, not exactly the same as a pita, but you know,
It's in that family, yeah. And that's something I haven't done for a while. Thank you for reminding me. Maybe I will have to make some burritos for myself. Just want to get the shell and beans and stuff and things. Yummy, yummy, yummy. But of course, I have to watch it with the beans high in phosphorus. A renal diet is really easy. Just don't eat. I say that many times. Oh my. Dekarastaye.
well, I don't know. I mean, I would be tempted to just make like a burrito the way I wanna. Like not follow any real recipe, just fill it up and fold it the right way. I love the rice that's in it. I like the meat that's in it.
Okay
I
then.
can probably just do without the beans. I mean, I don't need those. They're all right, but I don't need them.
I consider them the best
I'm
part.
trying to remember what vegetables they put in a burrito because I'm sure there's more than just the beans and the rice and the meat.
Some they put tomato in, don't they? Chop up a tomato roughly.
Yeah, that might be right. I don't know. It's been so long since I've had one. I should really have one at the place I like before I leave.
Okay, yeah, that would be a good thing.
Mm.
Oh, boy. But yeah, I want to see what I can What do we have here? And then there. I like it. I like it, Kitty. Kitty
Hmm.
says, then there is pita,
Oh, well,
P-E-T-A,
yes.
bread made from 100% bitter vegans, vegan. I don't know.
Well, one thing that really makes me laugh, the game I've mentioned before, Surviving Mars, right? The colonists are all individuals. I mean, they don't have personalities like in The Sims, but, everyone has a name and attributes and stuff. And some of the attributes are just like qualities, like brave or coward or creative or this, that, or the other thing, to make them a little more well-rounded. And each of them comes with a description, like if they're good natured, they get along with everybody, +5 to this, that, or the other thing, and I mean, food is hard to grow on Mars, so obviously people have various diets, and so some of them are like, well, I only eat this, I only eat that, I'm lactose intolerant, etc., etc. And vegan is one of the diets they can have, and the description of vegan is nothing but, don't worry, they'll tell you. I love that about it.
Oh
So,
my! No, I couldn't do vegan. I mean, never mind that. Medically, I couldn't do it. I have to have some animal flesh, or even just dairy, for fuck's sake. I mean, I have a hard time now with the renal diet. I mean, I love me some cheese, and I can't have as much as I'd like. Ah,
uh,
what is to do?
I don't know.
Oh, look, it's a
Oh,
purple.
hey,
Hi,
Purple is
honey.
here.
How is you is?
Hmm.
Oh my. Oh,
I am starting to get hungry, though. I'm gonna have to go in a soonishness.
uh, I don't
And,
know. Purple's gonna get an inferiority complex. She shows up and you want to leave. Yeah,
well, the show did start like what, 2, 3 hours ago?
it's been a short show considering.
Well, but what I mean is, like, if I leave after 2 or 3 hours, it's valid no matter who showed up.
Right. Zero two
It,
one four two nine.
8675309. What?
Uh huh.
Hmm.
Yeah. It is the stuff and the things and the stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I am going to see about getting to bed early today, but and then tomorrow's just going to be the whole bunch of fun. Like I say, it'll be. What time is that game tomorrow?
Hmm. Oh, dang it. I posted something somewhere and now I can't find it. Like, maybe if I can remember whose page I posted it on. Yes, I do remember whose page I posted on. I should probably save it. Someone posted this, like, obviously photoshopped picture of Seattle, right? I mean, the moon was just way the hell too big for it to be real.
Okay.
Um, And so I decided to take that image and, well, Photoshop it my own darn self, right? So what I ended up coming up with was, there it is, uh,
Oh, it's earlier than I
this.
thought. So what have you got here? I want to see what you've got.
Is a,
Okay then.
like, the moon is obviously too big,
Uh huh.
but the UFOs, well, obviously I added that, you know.
Oh. Oh,
So
what is that, Rainier?
yeah, that's
Okay.
Mount Rainier. Actually, I'm wondering, trying to remember which part of town. Oh, okay. Well, if the Space Needle is there, no, we won't be able to see my old apartment from here.
Okay. No, the game is earlier than I thought. Okay, so that's a little bit better.
It is earlier than I thought, too. I don't know why I'm so eager to get food already. I did. Oh, I know why. It's the
Hmm.
weed.
Oh, well then.
That's
Okay.
why.
No, I was thinking that the
Oh,
game was at 7:30, but it's at 6:30. So I
hmm.
might actually be home before midnight. Okay.
Well,
Yeah, it's always nice, when you have to be bleeding into a machine. You have to be up at 5 a.m. to do that. Fun stuff.
well, that's something I don't have to do.
Oh, consider yourself lucky. Definitely.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I don't like wait for the machine, you see.
Okay.
So I just, bleed.
Yeah, my.
Ah, well, never mind. It's not
Yeah.
funny, I guess, but I'm,
Well,
tired.
I'm thinking of the Rolling Stones. Let it bleed.
Yeah, I have only listened to a very small amount of the Rolling Stones, and usually only snippets and not entirely voluntarily. Like maybe it's in a movie, you
Dayo
know?
Korostu.
Hmm.
So I will have to leave here. I don't know. I'll probably have to leave here about 3 o'clock. Okay.
Wish I could remember when that appointment is where I go get more testing, for the autism stuff.
Oh, moo. Okay.
Because they're going to do a more comprehensive thing to figure out the exact flavor of neurodivergent. Because they're like, oh yeah, neurodivergent, absolutely. And now, like, okay, I was thinking about it, like, how a lot of folks who have the autism, or at least some of them, have a tendency to be like good at certain things and like really good and have very intense interests and that kind of thing.
What, the whole
Well,
the whole idiot savant thing?
well, I mean, kinda, but like, um, I mean, and I've mentioned how I'm an artist, not a scientist, not a mathematician, none of that, I got to wondering if maybe it's just like not, oh, hey, I'm left-handed or anything, but rather, you know, like, uh, what was I gonna say? I'm not left-handed, but because of the time when I was born, because like when I found Star Wars, I was just the right age to be caught up in Star Wars mania. If that hadn't happened, and if Lucas and Spielberg hadn't gotten big, where might my interests have ended up, I wonder? Like is it not necessarily that I focused because of part of my brain, but rather just because of what I was exposed to that made me passionate about something, like what I was exposed to first, you know?
Okay. What would have happened had you been exposed to Vonnegut first? Yeah, there you go.
But then again, I'm sure that a lot of it is just my nature because you've said fiction, and I'm sitting here thinking, what if I'd been exposed to math or science before Star Wars? Like an entire like not even, oh, what if I read different sci-fi? What if I'd been exposed to a different academic discipline first? Would I have focused on that instead?
Yeah, maybe.
It's something I wonder about. Because, I mean, part of being autistic, part of being neurodivergent is latching on to things really hard and being passionate about them. Granted, sometimes those passions burn brightly and end, but, I mean, not necessarily.
Moo. Moo. Moo.
I don't know. These are things I think about,
I don't know nothing.
whether I should or not. I don't know.
Oh,
So,
here we are.
I think I'm going to do the teriyaki stir fry for Din Din.
Oh, that sounds tasty. It actually does.
Yeah. course, I have to decide, is it going to be stir fry or soup?
Yes.
No, it's one or the other. Although, to be fair, the soup does sort of start out as stir fry.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Like, the
Yeah.
difference really is, have I added water? That
Okay.
really is the
Yeah.
difference between the stir fry and the soup. There isn't much of another difference at all.
Ooh, look at this.
So, I don't know. And I have to
Uh,
ask there, Shadow Kitty, how is that possible? Stones aren't alive.
tayo karastu? What? Oh, tataposhin tayo karasete. No,
Yeah.
this is an interesting thing. I hope this is a real book. It's called Jesus and John Lennon: How Woke Evangelicals Capitulated to Culture and Fractured the Church.
Huh. Okay. It's something I've never actually thought of now that I think about it now. Like, were the Beatles religious? I know they got into like a lot of psychedelic sitar stuff by the end there, but were they like Christians when they were still over in England or something?
I'm trying to remember. I think they started out. I think they started out Christians. I know they got crazy with the Maharishi stuff.
Yeah.
And
The Bhagwan.
there you go. And who the heck was it? George was worshiping one of the Hindu goddesses or some shit like that.
Hmm. I wonder, like, did any of them fall into Scientology?
I don't think so. I, I,
I,
I
I have to admit that would make me laugh, but yeah, I don't know. So earlier today on Twitter, I got blocked by one of my favorite comedians for disagreeing with him about Will Smith and Chris Rock.
oh man.
Yeah, well, I mean, way to alienate your audience, jackass, just because they, don't agree with you.
Uh huh.
Ah, what a dingus. I mean, there's disagree and there's disagree. It's like, if it's something really personal, I get it, but this is about other people, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is unfortunate. It looks
What?
like that Jesus and John Lennon was fake.
Oh,
Darn
okay.
it. Oh well.
Yeah,
Oh
pair of
well.
pimples for hairy fishnuts. Yeah, I don't know.
That's
Just
one
cough
thing.
up some dough, Mac. You know?
One thing I really
Did you
liked.
ever notice that that's misspelled? Except it got corrected later in one of the like omnibus editions, the collections, because originally it was COUPH. Cough up some dough.
Oh, okay, okay.
And it's like that has always bugged me. But then in like the what is it, Bloom County Babylon collection or something, it's corrected.
Oh,
Because
I'm kind of
those big
disappointed.
collections where it's like just a bunch of strips over a lot of books as opposed to the small books that come out.
Yeah.
So, it's like the smaller books, they usually don't print the Sunday ones in color. It's usually black and white, despite it being color in the newspaper.
Mm.
You know, but the big omnibus like collections, they usually do the color thing.
Oh my. But what I liked, especially when you go through the collections, the evolution of Opus.
Yeah, he did look pretty different at the start, didn't he?
Yes, he did, and even the personality. Um, he was a kind of a wallflower at first.
Kinda. But I guess he got popular, and that's why he was mentioned a lot. I do
Mm,
think it was kind of funny how his beak eventually became like a really squishy nose made of flesh.
yeah, yeah.
That I think, like it's really hard to reconcile that, because it's like, well, but it's supposed to be a beak. It's made out of something vaguely bone-esque, cartilage or some shit. I don't know. And it's like, well, now it's not that, and that's weird. And then, of course, that crush he had on Diane Sawyer wasn't there at the beginning.
Oh God. Oh man.
Yeah. I mean, and you remember when Bill the Cat was going out with Gene Kirkpatrick, who at the time I had no idea who the frick that was. It wasn't until recently when Wikipedia existed that I remembered to look her up after reading some Bloom County to figure out who the hell she was. Also, at one point, like when he's going out with her, and Opus is trying to pretend to be her to break up, or something like that. There was this whole Mujahideen Mama was what that was, but I didn't know how to pronounce it, and so I was like, "What the hell is Mujahideen?"
Okay.
This is weird. Also, I didn't retain who the hell she is, like some sort of ambassador or something. I don't
Oh,
know.
Gene Kirkpatrick?
Yeah,
Yeah, UN ambassador.
yeah.
Reagan era.
But she like somehow got this hard on for the Taliban or something. I mean, it
So,
was the '80s. I don't even know really who is who when it comes to Mujahideen or whatever, but whatever she was into, I got the impression she really liked one of those sort of Muslim groups that now may have been the people who got violent. I can't remember. I'm not sure. It
mm,
seems like they all have similar names, don't they?
yeah.
Like Iran and Iraq, and then the Sunni and Shiite. I mean, it's really easy to mix up who's who unless you like really deep dive into it because the names all sound the same.
Oh my. Mucho moof beef.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Purple, he looked like a puffin by the end of it, but the very first appearance, he had a very distinct beak.
Yeah, huh? Yeah. Yeah, a thin beak and the whole bit. Yeah.
And then he got the liposuction later, where his beak sort of looked like a pencil.
Yeah.
And it looked more like it did when he first appeared than it had in years.
Oh my.
I don't know. I think it's kind of funny.
But I really liked the Sunday stuff with Portnoy and
Hodgepodge.
Hodgepodge. That's the name. Yeah, drinking at the bar.
Mm. Oh, I think I know the one you're talking about. Yeah. Wait, is it the one where like there's that lady with the huge nose and she keeps thwacking Opus with it? And she talks about getting plastic surgery or something, and one of them, maybe it was Opus. Or no, it was Portnoy who kept getting thwacked with the nose. And at one point, I think it was like Opus says, "Oh, you could do to have like a little taken off here or there," and she goes, "Off? I was gonna have eyeliner permanently dyed into my eyelids. Why? What were you thinking of?" And then she says something like, my earlobes are too big, aren't they?" And Opus is like, "Nah." Is that the one you're thinking of?
Well, what I'm thinking, where Portnoy especially was three sheets to the wind, and it had the little bubbles drawn over his head. And
Oh no, I'm thinking a different one. Never mind.
yeah, I mean, this was many things, many strips where he would appear that way. He was always drunk and
Um, I remember there was one where it was like Opus had gotten the nose surgery, the hunker surgery, and they were hiding the results of it constantly. And at one point they were like, "And we now return to our strip, already in progress." And Hodgepodge and Portnoy, one of them sounding like turnips and antifreeze, or something.
I think I
I,
remember this.
oh, it was funny. I don't know. It's like not, and one of them was like, not with somebody he won't. I don't remember. County, let's see, turnips and antifreeze. Yeah, here we go. It was not with Donny Osmond, he won't. That's what it was. Okay.
Alrighty.
All right. And edit crop.
Well, Purple, there was a whole series of strips about that, wasn't there? Where he wasn't a penguin, he was a puffin.
I think that was only mentioned once.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, see, it was like, Portnoy, did you hear the latest? No, what? And it's like, we interrupt this to show that we've been concealing Opus's nose, self-censorship. We return to the hilarious comic already in progress. Turnips, termites, and antifreeze. Not with Donny Osmond. That one always stuck with me just because of the randomness.
Okay,
You know?
then. Move
Yeah. But I don't know. There were a lot of them that were similarly funny, mostly for the randomness. I mean, that was certainly one of the things. Like, as much as I hated the '90s, there was a lot of random comedy. Like where just people would do shit that came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, I really liked that. Where it was just like, oh my god, where did that come from? Kind of humor, just so very Wayne's Worldian kind of stuff. You never saw Wayne's World, did you?
I do not to see the Van World. I know what is it, yes, but not to see.
Okay, fine. Similar kind of humor. Actually, not too terribly far off from the Abram Zucker Abrams stuff. The airplane and all of that.
Estabarada.
Because a lot of that humor came out of nowhere, didn't it? Like especially what's his face, where the very campy guy who he's like, oh look, it can be a hat or it can be a bird, or where he's got the newspaper folded up, and
yes, I saw this one. Yes,
that guy. I mean, like a lot of what he did. Number one, it was improv according to IMDb, but even if it wasn't, it just came out of nowhere, and it was pretty funny, and I liked the out of nowhere humor of it.
Moo.
I don't know. That's just me. It was kind of like, it turns out that a lot of the They Might Be Giants songs I like did have meanings after all, but a lot of it didn't make any sense. And that's what I liked about it, was just like, you're sitting there listening to it going, what the hell? I liked that. It is, let's put it this way. I think somewhere in my makeup, my mental, like whatever, there's a little Dadaism in there.
Okay. Moo.
I'm just saying.
Get it.
I mean, if I have Dadaist tendencies, well, fine. I mean, it's I don't know. I enjoy it. I do wonder how Dadaism got that name, though.
I don't know. I
gather it was named by French people, but I'm not sure. Let's see. Wikipedia Dadaism. Let's see. Okay. Art movement. European, of course. Avant-garde. Yes. Oh, well, Switzerland. They speak French there. I was close. I don't know. Is there a Swiss language?
No, not really.
Or do they just speak French?
It's...
Language is spoken in Switzerland.
Local versions of French and German.
German Romanish, or Romanish. I assume there's no vowel there. Romansh. Okay.
Romansh.
Romanche. All right, fair enough. French and Italian. That one surprises me.
Why? I mean, Italy is just to the south. Tuscany.
Yeah, but when I think of Switzerland, I don't picture anything even vaguely Italian.
Okay.
Let's see.
You don't have Swiss pizza. That's true.
Yeah. Or Swiss pasta for that matter. And I can't imagine putting mozzarella on anything Italian. Or sorry, not mozzarella, sorry, Swiss cheese. Can't imagine Swiss cheese going with Italian food.
No.
Let's see. So Romanche has been recognized, official language, blah 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 blah. I'm just trying to figure out like where is its here we go. Origins. That's what I want. Romanche. Okay, so the Romanche is Rome, not Romany. I was wondering. Looks like Romanized Celtic.
Whoa.
And also something called Raic, which I don't know, or Radic, I don't know. Ratic. Okay. Rhaetic. Never heard of it till now. Somewhere it's from Raelia in the Eastern Alps in pre-Roman and Roman times. So that and Celtic got Romanized into this Swiss language, Romanche. Huh. Interesting. All right. But yeah, so apparently Dadaism started in Switzerland. The land of Switzer. I wonder what that is. Let me see here. Switzerland. So etymology, there it is. It's the very first entry. The English name Switzerland is a compound containing Switzer, an obsolete term for a Swiss person. Oh, how boring.
It is
That
difficult.
is so boring. Switzer just means Swiss person, or Swiss person. That is so dull. I was hoping for something a lot more interesting, like Switzer meant legend of the falling leaf or something. That goes back into Swiss history. I was hoping for something a lot cooler than that. But this is kind of like finding out that Burbank was just named after a guy named David Burbank.
Well.
It's like, gee, not a lot of skull sweat went into naming that one. Ah, well.
Garosete Petroye. Yes.
Then again, I mean, a lot of things are named after other things. I mean, like, it wouldn't be called the United States of America without, what's his name, Vespucci Amerigo, I think, Amerigo.
Yeah.
Was it Vespucci? I don't know.
Yep. God bless Vespucci land.
Well, I mean, without that guy, wonder what this place would be called. The entire set of continents, North, Central, and South America. Would we call them Columbusia? Columbesia. There we go. After Columbus.
Yeah.
I don't know. But of course, everyone doesn't like him anymore because he was a bit of a rat bastard. Well, okay. Everyone except the right wing, obviously.
Right.
But still, I mean, so like even if this was Columbesia, I think we'd be changing that now, most likely. Or at least there'd be a movement to try to. But yeah, I do wonder what we would call it. Hell, maybe it wouldn't even be North, Central, and South America. Maybe each continent would have its own unique name.
Oh, there you go. Maybe New India?
That would suck so hard. I mean, number one, like, obviously it's not India. But number two, I mean, the Indians would probably be like, what the hell, man? We had nothing to do with this. What are you naming it New India for? That's ours to do, not yours. I mean, that would be so obnoxious. Not that these people were any less obnoxious than that. They were a great amount of more obnoxious than that. But still, that is so cunty and presumptuous, isn't it?
Yeah. Move beef.
New India. It'd be like, I don't know, me going somewhere and saying, this is New Zealand.
Yeah.
I
What,
don't
like
know.
New York?
Yeah, a lot like that. I mean, in this one video game, Star Control Origins, there were like, oh, I forget what the name of the aliens were, but they had changed homeworlds so many times that it was like, oh, yes, this is new alien name world. You know, it was like they had 12 news on the front of their homeworld by the end of it. Star
I.
Control has a history of being like you can take the game very seriously, except for the aliens who are all goofy. You
Okay.
know, like every alien race is goofy, but the game itself you can take it seriously. You know, the stuff you're supposed to do, the plot,
Oh,
everything. It's like imagine a very serious plot, but every character is Jar Jar Binks.
eek.
You know, I mean that's I mean not nearly as annoying, but that's kind of the model Star Control uses is like, you know, it's Star Trek right and up until you encounter an alien race and then it's Looney Tunes.
Oh. Oh,
I don't
look,
know.
it's a kitty. Hi, you.
That was one of the things I was a little annoyed. There was this game Spore that at the time tried to brand itself as an evolution game. It's actually, when you think about it, kind of an intelligent design game because you, the player, get to manipulate the creatures. You can rip off limbs and put on new ones and, you know, give them more powerful this, that, and the other thing. So you're really building your own species. But in the original demo for Spore, it looked sort of like you could take it seriously. All of the creatures looked like, you know, they might actually exist in real life, et cetera, et cetera. When the game finally comes out, it's like someone said, "Okay, let's make these characters look like they belong in SpongeBob SquarePants." And the people who were like looking forward to this game for years were pissed, you know, including me. We were like, dude, we didn't want Disney Spore. You know, we wanted real Spore. We wanted a game that looked like biology. And the evolution, quote unquote, even forgetting the part where you just spend skill points to get better limbs, you know, it was like first you start out as a microscopic organism, and then you eventually become a larger sea creature, and then you emerge out onto land, and then you become tribes, and after the tribe stage you build cities, and after the city stage you build a spaceship, and then you go exploring the galaxy that's full of creatures other people made on every world. But that's it. It's like a very simplistic game. There's no meat on its bones.
Destradje.
You know, it's just really shallow by the end of it. I was very disappointed. I mean, I basically got to be a spacefaring species in an hour. Well, maybe a little more, maybe 2 or 3 hours, but still, it was very fast. And then when you go to other worlds, the only thing to do is to look at them. You can't really interact at all. Not really, unless they've changed the game since, updated it, whatever. Um, you know, and it was like when you were in the tribe stage, the whole thing was either to win over the other tribe by giving them gifts or by conquering them. And it was the same thing with the city stage. It was just the most dull ass game ever. I mean, it was almost worse than No Man's Sky for what it promised and didn't deliver. Almost. No Man's Sky was still worse, but it was almost there. Oh, what the hell do you want? Come on, dude. Notice my face. That's one of the cool things about this phone. It will, like the security, if it sees my face, it just starts.
Ugh.
Oh, whatever. Leave me alone with your spam, stupid message thingy.
Take
Just
that's.
this asshole. Oh, well, whatever. I do like my new phone, but there are some things about the interface that are a pain, or things they removed from earlier versions that I wish I could have back. But for the most part, it is a better phone than the one I had. So,
Moo.
uh, Oh. Well, that's one of the things that I've been dealing with in like future plans with Quinn Redshift is there is a species that never did crawl out of the ocean. Mind you, the ocean is actually under the surface of the planet where they are, but whatever. I mean, one of the things that I always think about is how there was an ice age on Earth that sort of delayed a lot of things. You know, creatures were just trying to survive in this hostile environment where I suppose it could have been possible that things would have, taken a more prosperous turn, I guess, had that event not happened, that global environmental event not happened. And so it makes me think that, like, I mean, in the Quinn Redshift story, there are aliens that live in the solar system because it's pulp sci-fi, not accurate sci-fi, you know. But I was thinking, like, how would a species that evolved on another planet, how far would they get if they hadn't had that ice age? You know, if they hadn't had that sort of global catastrophe that I'm sure delayed things a great deal. It's kind of like asking, what if we hadn't had the Dark Ages? What if the Library at Alexandria hadn't been burned down? Where would we be then? Kind of thing. You know, so it's like these aliens may have started to, like, their planet may have had life around about the same time as Earth, but their progress was not impeded by an ice age, you know?
Okay. Uh-huh.
So how far would they have gotten, like, further than humanity maybe? And how does a species that never left the ocean become spacefaring is one of the parts that the story deals with. Because let's face it, if your spaceship is full of water, it's going to take a lot to get it off the surface, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
So, the way they cope with that is part of the story, so I won't say, but
Oh, move beef.
okay, I know I said I was going to go like an hour ago.
No.
At 1900 my time, I'm out of here because I need food.
Foods. Yummy, tasty food.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll have a couple hot dogs tomorrow.
Mm. Well, German sausages are the worst.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Oh my, oh my, oh my. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have to see how to carry everything, because I'm not allowed to have my backpack there. So
What, at dialysis?
at the game.
Oh, the game. Right. Sorry. Um. Well, what are you bringing?
Well, my wallet, my phone.
Well,
Um,
okay. Let's put it this way. What are you bringing that you would need a backpack for?
well, it's easiest to have everything in the pockets of the backpack, but I suppose that I will not die without the backpack. It'll just be shove the wallet into a jacket pocket and hope it fits.
Well, do they have, like, a bag size policy, like small ones, like say a fanny pack can go in with you?
Yeah, a fanny pack can go in with me, and I may have to look at that and see if I can stuff stuff into the stuff.
Well, I've got this really cool thing that I actually don't feel like I can use it because it looks dangerous. Is this sort of like hip holster thing that can hold a Kindle or a Nintendo Switch or something, but it
Okay.
looks too much like I'm walking around with a gun strapped to my hip.
Oops.
And I'm sure that, like, someone somewhere will make that mistake and lose it in my direction.
Uh huh.
So, like, as much as it's useful, I'm not sure how much I'd ever want to use it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if you get stopped by a cop and I'm like, dude, there's a Nintendo in there. It's not a gun in any shape. Look at how flat it is. Where am I going to put? You know, and they'll probably still get pissy about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe it'd be more appropriate in Vermont because, okay, you know, after the why am I blanking? Derek Chauvin's victim, George Floyd. That's it. You know,
Oh.
after that, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, all cops are bastards." But the thing is, I've known cops in like South Burlington, and they were all pretty stand-up folks. You know, but then again, the precinct had about 6 of them. You know, it's not like New York City where you've got a bunch of bad apples and 1 or 2 fills at the back going, guys, maybe we should be nicer to folks, guys. You know, it's like in South Burlington, they're not connected into that asshole network, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
it's like, I mean, yeah, I get the all cops are bastards thing, and I get they're like, well, some exceptions don't, you know, like offset the folks who are misbehaving. But I'm like, what if it's like one precinct where nobody is misbehaving? You know, are you going to get on those guys? Because they're an example of what to do. If you give them a hard time, well, then you're kind of arguing against yourself, aren't you?
Moof beef. Yeah.
But like I've lost friends over that. You know, saying that kind of thing. Like, what if there really is a genuine exception where there's a whole police department where nobody is a dick in that way? They would never mistreat people that way. They would never steal stuff off of people. You know, what if there was one police station where that was the norm? Would you be okay with it? And they're all like, I'm not friends with you anymore. Which, let's face it, is pretty cunty.
Okay, Purple wants
Lost
to check
another
out.
friend, well, you know, someone I'd known for a long time. I don't know if we were actually friends, but, you know, from the Seagoth scene, who decided to ditch me as a friend because I'd said, look, it'd be really nice to have like distinct plural and singular of they, them. It'd be nice to have it. It'd be convenient. It would solve so much. But if you know, don't use they, them when someone expects you to, well, you're a dick. Right? You know, that's just not okay. And this person was like, well, you're not allowed to want, you know, singular and plural they, them. That just makes you a bigot. And I'm like, no, I said it'd be convenient. It'd be handy. It would actually hopscotch over a lot of the arguments people are having. You know, it'd be nice to have them. It would be handy. But I will use they, them as singular and plural because it's what we got. And it's nice for, you know, it's treating people with dignity the way they want to be treated. It's empathy to do that. And they're like, no, you're a rat bastard bigot for wishing we had it being more distinct. And I'm like, I should not be losing a friend over this, but if that's your decision, fine, fuck off. Yeah, well, one of the things that I've noticed, Mage, is a lot of the people that I counted as friends at one point became kind of snowflakey. Like you say even the tiniest wrong thing to them, and that's it. Persona non grata, you're gone. Well, yes, but I mean, that is the problem, Purple. But my point is that there are some places where it's not even an issue. It doesn't come up. But like they get thrown under the bus by people who are just like, no, doesn't matter. Anyone who enforces the law is a rat bastard. You know?
No.
And I'm like, I get what you're saying, but I don't want to throw out the good with the bad. And if good exists, hold on to it. You know, don't give up good just because it's wearing the uniform of bad. I mean, at one point, I'd like to believe that uniform meant something good. I mean, clearly not. A lot of this stuff is coming out now, but you know, like stuff that happened a long time ago is coming out now.
Yeah, huh?
So it's like I guess the image was undeserved, but I mean, I've known people like I was describing. I mean, I remember a friend of mine wanted to be a cop. And so in high school, we joined a police explorer post to see what it was all about. And I met like Elliot Fletcher and why am I blanking on his name? Chuck Balsaris. And I don't think I ever knew Patsy's last name. Then there was Tanya, the K9 officer, and these were all pretty stand-up folks.
Okay,
You
then.
know, and I wouldn't want to throw them under the bus just because a bunch of cops in like California and New York are being dicks.
Mm-hmm.
So, actually, I'm told Officer Chuck died a while back. He was the DARE officer. That's where I first met him. You know, like he was the one who would go to school and tell people, you know, just say no. I mean, this was the 80s, remember?
Yeah, huh. Yeah, good old Nancy Reagan. Just say no.
So, drug abuse resistance education, DARE. It was funny to me how many people thought the A stood for awareness instead of abuse,
Okay.
because it was drug abuse resistance.
Yeah, huh.
Education is education how to resist drug abuse, but everyone was like, no, 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 it's about awareness of drugs. It's drug awareness resistance. I'm like, so ignorance then?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't really care that much. I thought it was funny, but it was also mildly irritating to the pedantic side of me. But I don't know. 5 more minutes and I'm out of here.
Das ist der Betrodje.
Kate hungry. Kate eat food.
Food. Foods.
Food good. Like food.
Food. Food. Food. Food. Food. Food. Food. Food.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I guess.
Sort of. Kind of.
Well.
Little bit this, little bit that is on the thing for toys on into.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It is the biggie boo goo, the fizzy foo. I don't know. What you got over there? Food.
I eat food. And of course, you have no idea where that came from.
Right.
I don't know if you'd enjoy Invader Zim. And again, you did enjoy Mars Attacks, so you might, but it's a very specific. Actually, come to think of it, I think you might enjoy Invader Zim. I mean, if you liked Ren and Stimpy, and I don't know, did you like oh, what was it? What am I thinking of here? I'm totally blanking on it. Not Ren and Stimpy. I don't know. I had another example, but I'm blanking on it. Man, I guess there was a certain amount of. Well, I only saw one episode of Rick and Morty, but there was some of that in there. I think similar style, but God, it's hard to think about. I think Invader Zim is like 20 years old now. Jeepers.
Yes, Purple, she did.
What?
Purple asks, didn't you say you were leaving as soon as you came in?
Oh yeah, to Purple. That's right.
De agora sente. Que te
But no, the reason was I was hungry, and I guess it hadn't reached critical yet. So, but it's getting there.
Moo.
Yeah, I hate it when my hunger gives me feedback because it's always negative. When my hunger gets critical.
Okay then.
Yeah. See, that's a really bad joke, and
Yes.
that's because I'm hungry and not thinking proper law.
When the hungry's hit, when the hungry's hit, hit the red barn. I don't know. Esta da Petra de Balaguete. Fuel status critical. Yay.
I swear there's another, like, either company or maybe it's a store that was local somewhere called Red Barn that was not food. It was like craft supplies or something.
Okay.
Probably, well, I mean, probably in Vermont because barn, but then again, I guess it could have been in Seattle. I swear there was like a video barn at one point, and that was deep in the city. So,
Okay. Yeah,
video
our
barn. I
Red
swear
Barn
that
was
existed.
our Red Barn was a regional chain.
Video barn. I swear.
Estebetrado.
Uh-huh. It was in Rochester. That's where it was. We went there in college. Video Barn. That was it.
Moo.
Go. Yeah, here we are. 2045 Empire Boulevard in Rochester, New York. Well, damn. I can't believe it still exists, though. I mean, do people really rent like Blu-ray and shit?
I don't know.
Well, okay. The last comment on their page was in 2012.
Okay, so yeah.
Okay, it's time for me to make like a baby and head out. It's
Uh,
yeah. So bye,
yeah.
everybody. I'm gonna go eat food.
Well, bon appetit and good stuff and everything. And I guess what I'll do is I will say want to thank all of you who are here, and I want to thank all of you who are not here. And you guys keep me going. Sometimes I wish you wouldn't, but you know what can I say? Oh my! But yeah, we will take some good time and do some good stuff. And thank you, all of you, really. All of the patronage persons and all of you who just come here just to come here. No problem. No problem at all. Um, and it's my pleasure, honey. It is indeed it is indeed my pleasure. And I'll let everybody know how the game turns out. The Nationals will probably lose, so you know what the heck. I'll work on having a decent time of it and everything else, and I hope all you guys have a good time. And I guess we will be back on Bunny Day, good old Easter Sunday, and I don't know, think of something to do for Easter. Um, hey, maybe I should color some eggs. Wouldn't that be fun? I'd like that. Okay, but thanks a lot, really, all of you people. Thank you, and it's just great having you here, and enjoy every minute of it and stuff and things. And okay, thanks a lot, troops. See you on the other side.